take me on home to the asylum. Never alone in the asylum. Anarchy ruled, it was wild, but through it all you never smiled. Joke's on you, I'm in your head, so look who's laughing now. Remember in Arkham City, I killed your girl, so pretty. That was the night you let me die. But when I looked you in the eye, that's when I knew we'd be together. Look who's laughing now. I'm stuck in your head and I'm laughing. Ah, I fill you with dread and I can't stop laughing. Your parents are dead and I can't stop laughing. What else can I do? Now I'm part of you. I am the clown, prince of crime. And we've had a hell of a time. You're part of me, I'm part of you. And now there's nothing left to do. I just can't wait till I'm in control. Who'll be laughing then? I drove you round the bend and I'm laughing. I'm with you till the end and I can't stop laughing. I killed all your friends and I can't stop laughing. Oh yeah, I think I can taste your fear. Now that my time is near, I'm in your blood, I'm so alive. I only wish you'd let me drive. It won't be long till I make you kill. Who'll be laughing then? Barbara's dead and I'm laughing. Ah! Jason Todd's dead and I can't stop laughing. I'm even dead and I can't stop laughing. What else can I do? Now I'm part of you. I drove you round the bend and I'm laughing. I'm with you till the end and I can't stop laughing. I killed all your friends and I can't stop laughing. I'm cock-a-doodle-doo. All because of you. I'm stuck in your head and I'm laughing. Ah, I fill you with dread and I can't stop laughing. Your parents are dead and I can't stop laughing. I'm stuck in your head and I'm laughing. I filled you with dread and I can't stop laughing. Your parents are dead and I can't stop laughing. What else can I do? Now I'm part of you.
Long have yearned for your tender caress, to bind our fortunes. Damn what the stars own. Rend my heart open, then your love profess. A winding, weaving fate to which we both atone. You flee, my dream come the morn. twisted, stormy, of violet eyes glistening as you weep. The wolf I will follow into the storm to find your heart, its passion displaced by our ever-growing, hardening into stone. Amidst the cold to hold you in a heated embrace, you flee. My dream come the morning, your scent, berries tart, lilac sweet, to dream of raven locks and twisted, stormy, of violet eyes glistening as you weep. I know not if fate would have us live as one, or if by love's blind chance we've been bound. The wish I whispered when it all began, did it forge a love you might never have found? You flee, my dream come the morning, your scent, berries tart, lilac sweet, to dream of raven locks and twisted, stormy, of violet eyes glistening as you weep.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Priscilla, sing sweet nothings to me. Or sweet somethings. I'm flexible. I'll be flexible for her, tell you what. Tell you what, how are you guys doing? How you doing today? You feeling good? I know I do. It's a snowy day here in Colorado. We got like 4 inches, which is like so much. Like more than I can handle, or anybody should be able to handle, frankly. A lot of snow. Romeo got to go out and try it for the first time. He's never seen snow before, and so he was just running around, and he wanted to stay outside, but it was like, bro, you're gonna freeze to death. We can't do that. So he's upset with me right now because he had to come inside. But you know what? Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta come inside or you'll freeze to death, you know? Sometimes you gotta do it. Yeah. 4 inches is too much. I agree. I think any more than that is frankly ridiculous and probably unsafe too. Probably. How are you guys? How are you guys? I'm vibing. Real quick, thank you, Limits Breaker. Thank you for the 5. Imagine if in Squadron 42, Mark Hamill saying, "I took all your money and I can't stop laughing." That would unironically be goated. What's up, chat? Hope everyone is doing awesome. Yes, indeed. Hopefully you guys are staying warm. Hopefully. Thought you lived in Montreal, in good old Montreal. I actually, unironically, probably would really like living in Montreal. It is beautiful. It's cold, but it's beautiful. The food, dude. Oh, the food in Montreal. If you've never had authentic poutine, I know it sounds sexual, and frankly, it could be, depending on how you eat it. And I would have no judgment for you because it's that good. Like, bro, so good. Isn't that where the fake French? Worse than fake French. Canadian French people. Yeah. Even worse than that. Poutine looks so good, but you can't get in Dutchy land. Well, dude, when it's done well, bro, it's something else. I went to a place where they like had the chicken on like spits over fires behind the counter. Like in America, we have Subway, and I sure they have that in Canada as well, but they had like, it was a Subway but for poutine, and so like they had literal chicken over a spit roasting on the fire, and when you asked for like the chicken poutine or whatever, they would just reach down, cut off some of the chicken, and like bring it in. It was awesome. It was awesome. There's an interesting vibe to the stream today. I think I'm just hungry. That's the common thread. If I'm hungry when I come to stream, this is what you get. This is what you get. Sorry, not sorry. Cancel me. I don't care. Cancel me. What are you going to do? Cancel me. Quick, jump scare. Got you. Got you. I'm sure it helped because I yelled jump scare as I jump scared you, which is actually a sneaky way to jump scare someone. Just a little advice for you. Just a little bit of advice for you. Today, we have a good number of things to go through. We're actually also going to do the podcast a little bit later with Mr. Jor. We've got a lot of stuff to catch up on because he recently did an interview with Simon, who is in charge of the post-launch stuff for AC Shadows, and I'm sure that was compelling. Lots of stuff to talk about there. I don't remember if his talk with him was before or after the Attack on Titan thing, but either way, we'll talk about that. There's a couple of other little things I want to go through, but we've got 2 hours to rock and roll before our scheduled start time of the podcast, so it should be good. I'm going to try to keep it high energy because I have loaded myself up on caffeine, and the reason for that is because I went to pick up somebody, a family friend from the airport this morning, and I had to leave at like 5 a.m. or something. 5 something a.m. and it was during like the super snowy part of the night, so the snow is still pouring down, everybody's driving crazy. And dude, like early morning drives I like, it's a vibe, but early morning drives on 4 hours of sleep I like less, and then early morning drives on 4 hours of sleep in like 4 inches, which is a lot of snow, is like, it's not as great, you know? Like you're so tense that your neck hurts just from like how tense you are while you're driving. It's a lot. Whoa, that's a lot. I know, lucky boy. I couldn't handle the 4 inches. Barely. Well, I did. I survived, but I could barely handle it. Yeah. I live in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We got hella snow today. Dude, I can only imagine. When I was growing up, we lived in Minnesota for a year, and Colorado snow is like light and powdery. Think powdered sugar. That's what it is. Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota snow is freaking heavy. It is wet. You reach down with one hand, grab it. It is a snowball already. In Colorado, you have to take the snow and like you can't even pack it into a snowball if you try. It just disintegrates because it's so dry and light and fluffy. It's why people like coming here to ski and snowboard and all that, because it's so fluffy. But bro, Minnesota snow is something else. I remember when I was a kid and we were in Minnesota, there was a big snowstorm and the plows came in and pushed all the snow off the street into our front yard. So we had like I'm sure it was really only like 5 or 6 feet tall, but as a little kid, it felt like a 20-foot tall pile of snow. And it was so heavy, so compacted that we, over the next like week, dug tunnels throughout it. And we had like actual snow tunnels and like a whole system of an igloo and all this other stuff that we had built. I'm sure it wasn't that safe because if it collapsed, we would have just been buried, but it was fun. It was fun. And frankly, if childhood is not a little dangerous, is it even childhood? Is it even childhood? Okay, I'm of course joking. You should be safe. Somebody's going to be like, oh, Luke just said he likes danger for children. Come on. The only danger I will expose my children to is the risks of, like, we're going to do a crash course on the risks of Fortnite. And we're going to talk about how you shouldn't buy cosmetics. So like, yeah, I told you guys about how my little brother, he asked me if I wanted to play Fortnite with him. And I said, sure. I'm trying to be like a supportive brother. I was like, I'll bring my gaming laptop up when we visit. Let's play Fortnite together. And he asked me, well, do you have a skin or are you still using noob skins? It's like, I don't know, what the normal skin. And he straight up said, if you use noob skins, my friends will make fun of you. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like you're bullying me into spending money in Fortnite. So I'm gonna give my kids the talking to when they can actually understand what I'm talking about. That it's more cringe to spend money on cosmetics. I'm gonna teach them right that if you see somebody running around Call of Duty in like American Dad Family Guy skin, make fun of them. That's what I'm gonna teach them. Mockery. That's the key. How old is he? He's 15 now. At the time, he was like 12, 11, 12, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but yeah. Yeah, ew, you're using the skin that just came out. That's so cringe. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Quick, you want to know it's not cringe? You want to know it's not cringe? In our member/sub-only Discord, I have a bunch of postings, but I also found this song. This is apparently a genre of music called trapgrass, and I just want you to imagine, well, listen to this music and tell me what it makes you think of, because immediately it painted a picture in my head, and I'm going to pitch it to you of like the game that I want this to be the soundtrack to. Okay, just take it in, take it in. Oh. See, you could be listening to talented people like that, but instead you're here. What are you doing? Tell you what though, it's pretty fire. And frankly, when I heard this, it made me think of like, I know Red Dead, people could say Red Dead. I'm gonna make a deep cut, okay? What this makes me think of, do you remember the old Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr.? Do you remember those old ones? Now they're old. Like, I think they were circa, must have been like 2012 or something. Sherlock Holmes, 2009. Bro, I feel old. You remember these? So these movies had a very particular vibe. I would show video of it, but they're gonna strike the whole stream if we try to do that. But they had a very particular vibe. And they were, I mean, it was a real vibe, but I've always thought that there is huge potential for really, really cinematic Sherlock Holmes video games. Like, imagine the vibes of AC Syndicate and the Jack the Ripper DLC mixed with the presentation of the Order 1886 with like the dark narrative and cinematic storytelling of those Sherlock Holmes movies with that style of music, with like the fiddle for the soundtrack. I think it'd be a vibe. I think it'd be the vibe. Wasn't there one? There are Sherlock Holmes games. Some of you may be mad about this. They're kind of like they're okay, but they've never been great. You know, they've never been great. Like I know I've played all those Sherlock Holmes games. The presentation's kind of all over the place, and like they also, I mean, they're just not very good. And I'm saying that as somebody that's like played them. Yeah, cancel me, I don't care. Yeah. I know a lot of people love them. I've always thought that they could be a lot better. Like for example, there's Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1, for example. This is one of them that pops up. Oh yeah, I played this one back a handful of years ago. It's like sexy Sherlock Holmes. It's again, that like they're fine. They're just, but like that's it. They're just fine. At times they can be good, but there's also plenty of times where they're just fine and they don't really live up to, in my opinion, the potential of the IP. You know? Impossible crimes. Don't ask what they're about to do to the elephant. Don't ask. It's a sad story, sad tale, as it were. Yeah. Is the IP owned by anyone? I don't even know. Would it be owned by somebody, or is it like, I guess the copyright may have expired, but it's not like a US copyright. I think it's like an international one. So I don't know. Sherlock, but from IOI. I think that could be interesting. We'll see how James Bond goes, but that could be interesting. Yeah, I just want really cinematic Sherlock Holmes. Really cinematic Sherlock Holmes. I think that could be cool. Because I think the problem with most detective games is that a lot of it is more about just going and collecting the clues, and then it kind of solves itself. It's what I liked about L.A. Noire, which was that, like, you could get the crimes wrong. Like, you could lock somebody in and that's not who did it. You know, and I like that. I like that they don't necessarily tell you what the right answer is, and you're not necessarily graded purely against who you chose was guilty of the crime, but it's also it's more based on how you conducted yourself through the case and why you chose that person, if the evidence supported it. But with a lot of those Sherlock Holmes games, it's just like, go here, check off these boxes of collecting this evidence, and then you connect the clues through like their web mind system or whatever, and then the case kind of solves itself. And I don't personally like that. I like it when there's, you know, you are the one solving it. You're the one putting it together, and you might get it right, you might not, you know. Yeah, I like that much more. Yeah, I agree. The detective genre has not been mastered. I believe there's some really good games from, especially back in the day, that are detective games that are quite good. But I still feel like there needs to be that like magnum opus that shows everybody, oh, okay, this is how it's done. Like, you know, The Last of Us was sort of that game, but for cinematic storytelling in gaming. Or you could point to maybe, I mean, you could go back even more old school games like Halo, showcasing first person shooting on console can work really well. So there's plenty of games that are like that big first one that kind of proves the concept. Destiny even as like MMO on console. But I feel like I agree, detective games have not had that big moment in the modern era for like taking it to the next level. Oberdin is very good, but I don't think it's quite there either. Like, especially for the time, fantastic. But you know, I still think that there's room for a big budget, like massive effort on that big mass market scale. I don't know. Yeah, detective gameplay has rarely had any real depth. You're just kind of clicking everything. Well, that's kind of what it turns into. And I know some people will play, like, some of those games might have like a hardcore difficulty where like you miss a clue, you don't get the clue and you're screwed. But I don't know. There is one, crap, what's it called? There's one, oh, Shadows of Doubt. This is it. Shadows of Doubt. Shadows of Doubt is a procedural detective sim game that is pretty good. And basically what it does is it tries to solve the problem of like games and missions and cases being very predictable, or being like there being no replay value in the detective game. And it tries to combine all of this with murders and other crimes in a procedurally generated and persistent city where every NPC lives and breathes their own independent lives. Find the killer quickly or they will kill again. It's very, very interesting. So this is the kind of idea that I think that genre needs, is more of this stuff. So, but still, I mean, it's an interesting thing. I still think that it's, you know, a sequel to this could take it up a notch, you know, but we'll see. Anyway, X to Doubt. Yes, indeed. At least we got that meme. Also, just in case you guys missed it, this is crazy. New mini segment thing. Oh, real quick, let me catch up on these before we talk about this whole thing that happened with Helldivers. Anno. Oh, I can read. An Oat Bran. See, I got there eventually. An Oat Bran said with 11 months, oh baby, almost a year already. Love working and watching your streams. Thanks for the awesome content. Thank you, my friend. When I am able to read, I'm sure it's more enjoyable. But thank you for being here. Much love. Kyle, thank you for the 2. It's ya boy, Brandy Boy, Starfield weapon analysis. Oh yes, you did point that out. What I want to do is, so this is going to come as a surprise to all of you. I tend to talk about BGS / Starfield / Elder Scrolls a lot. So I'm trying to pace myself. That's one of those videos that I think we can return to. It's what I would call evergreen. Like, it's just interesting at any point when we talk about BGS design philosophies and stuff. So it is on like our to-do list. I'm not sure when we'll get to it, but I do plan on getting to it eventually. Thank you for the reminder though. Ed Boys, Ed, is it Ed or ED? I don't know. Ed Boys Variety Hour. Thank you for the 2. Ben Franklin scripted chase sequence. Yes. If we're going to do that Sherlock Holmes game, yes, we should do that. I agree. The Nugget. Thank you for 7 months. Hey, Luke. Excited to be able to catch the stream again. Bought my first home. Hells yeah, my friend. Congratulations. Creating my new office using your IKEA desk hack as inspiration. Yeah, dude, it's goated. People have asked, like, Luke, where did you get the massive desk? It isn't a desk. It is an IKEA countertop. Like, it's technically a kitchen island countertop. And this whole thing was like $180 or something. And then I put it on 2 cabinets you also get from IKEA for like $50 a pop. The whole thing is under $300. They'll deliver it to your front door for you. And then you just like set it up yourself, and it is way bigger, way sturdier, way cheaper, and it's just better than like a standard desk. If you go and try to search for desk, they're gonna double the price just because it's a desk. Like, bro, this thing, goated. Like, and there's a whole, I think, subreddit dedicated to it, just like IKEA. It's like IKEA desks or something like that. But like, seriously, it's great. So I highly recommend you check that out if you have not done it. And if you want to get a new desk, do the IKEA thing, dude. It's fantastic. Yeah, most PC desktops are very flimsy. Yeah, and they're not really designed for like the big PC gaming, the desktop on there, if you want to be able to look at it and see it, and then like speakers and the monitor. It's just, they're not typically designed for that. Whereas this thing, it's literally a kitchen island. So it's designed to like withstand a lot of weight. So I recommend it. And again, congrats on the home. Nugget, thank you for being here. Congrats. Brandon, thank you for the 5. Just got YouTube recap, and I'm in the top 0.2% of viewers and have watched 450 of your videos this year. God damn, bro. Poggers. If anybody else has done their YouTube recap, let us know if you have that beat. That's the top one I've heard. I've seen a couple people tweet me pictures of like the top 3% or the top 5% of viewers, but top 0.2, that's pretty goated. And then Joa K, I can read. Joaker, thank you for the 34 months. You get a whip for that. Hope you're having a great day. I hope you are too. That's fantastic. Much love. Okay. And then over on Twitch, of course, we have Chanster, the one and only Mr. Chanster, with 15 months with a resub. Dude, I don't know if you played the Mirage DLC yet, but the ending is mocapped so well, and it made me tear up like the Black Flag ending. Also, any interest in watching Mike Pondsmith's talks on stream? He gives a lot of insight on the development with CDPR. I do want to check it out, probably closer or when we have more to talk about with Cyberpunk, because he's not as recognizable of a name, at least in most like video game circles. Tabletop, of course, people know him, but video game wise, not a lot of people would know it. So I want to talk about his talks when it's like when there's also things to pair with it, you know. But as for the end of the Mirage DLC, I know, right, dude? It's good. It's like we actually filmed a video last night that will go up later today, and in that video, I'm going through like the problem with Ubisoft's lack of consistency and quality with everything, whether it's Star Wars Outlaws or Assassin's Creed. Like across the board, they just struggle with consistency. And I was going to show clips of the end of the Mirage DLC to showcase like, no, see, like even today they can do it well. Like they are capable, some of their teams at least. But then literally a week after that launched, we got that Attack on Titan crossover thing. And it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? But that's just how it is. I mean, it's bizarre. But I didn't end up showing that in the video because I didn't want to spoil it considering it's so new. But yeah, it seriously is very well done. It's very well done. Let's see. What's the theory update on the Game Awards Desert Statue? Last theory I heard was it could be Saros or Returnal, basically Returnal 2. We're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on that because there's a good number of updates to all of it. And, yeah, we're going to talk about that real quick. I wanted to mention this also. Hamad Flame, thank you for the super chat as well. New little time. Blip. So this was posted to Nixis or Nixies. I still don't know how to say it. I'm going to be real. I don't know how to say it. But they apparently have been contacted by Arrowhead, the guys behind Helldivers, to help them optimize Helldivers 2. And dude, this is insane. We worked together with our friends at Arrowhead to reduce Helldivers 2 PC installation size from 154 gigabytes to 23. What? You just casually cut off like 120 something gig, like what? 131 gigs? I can't even math. Like my brain is fried. What do you mean you just casually cut off that much? What? That's insane, especially because you guys know I like to whine, and I've whined a good amount about how Helldivers 2 has steadily gotten an inflated install size. I feel like when it launched, it was maybe like 80 gigs. Now, up until this, it's been like 120, 130, 140, 150 gigabytes to install it. It's insane. It's just gotten bigger, and it's also gotten less performant. It's had more bugs and all sorts of things. And then they come in and they just optimize the crap out of it, like down to 23 gigs. What is even happening? Like, it's insane. It's insane. Please do this for Bungie next, I beg. It's crazy. To be clear, it is not technically, as far as I'm aware right now, it's not spread to everybody yet, which is why it won't reflect in your library. It is a public technical beta right now, which means that they're testing it and then it'll go live for everybody maybe in a week or two. But still absolutely insane. And, I retweeted it. What's funny is that this ended up being, I think, my most engaged with tweet ever was the monster from Monsters vs. Aliens with his what face, one of my favorite memes of all time. But bro, this popped off. I don't even know like how, but I think everybody shares the sentiment. Like, how does that even happen? And I did talk to a couple of people that reached out to explain it, but really broad strokes, according to people way smarter than me, basically a lot of these games that have massive install sizes are like, you are able to reduce the install size through optimization. But what is optimization actually? Apparently in this case, what it seems was going on is that, I'm going to use MS Paint to really, really oversimplify this. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's oversimplify it. Back in the good old days, people used these scary things for storing their games called hard drives. I know, sounds gross, sounds slow and icky, right? But back in the day, years ago, that's how people installed stuff. That's how consoles stored everything. Nowadays we use SSDs, and the nice thing about SSDs is that you can basically pull data from anywhere on the SSD at any point, right? And the way one of the people I talked to that reached out, he's a software engineer, the way he described it was that an SSD can basically, like, imagine if you have a parking lot for vehicles. We'll just say vehicles for now. You'll understand why in a second. And there's like a grid of places where you can park vehicles, and you need to get something out of this spot. Okay, this is like the map that you're playing in, or the chapter of the game you're playing, or whatever. You need data from this area. SSDs are like helicopters. They can just take off from there and you accessed it immediately. It doesn't matter how far in from the quote unquote entrance you are. It can just access it anywhere effectively instantly, which is a very nice thing about SSDs. They're very fast because they can grab from anywhere. Back in the day with hard drives, because like you had a physical disk spinning, it didn't work like that. What he said was the analogy is basically like instead of a helicopter, you have like an actual car. And for that car to be retrieved, you have to like actually go there, and it has to drive out of the parking lot to be accessed where you need it and to arrive back to be read. And so if you need to pull data from all sorts of various places, like here and then over here, maybe you have like the folder for textures. Over here, you have the folder for sound bites. Over here, you have the folder for this or that. Over here, you have the folder for something else. It takes a ton of time to pull all of this and for the disk to spin to the place where you need to pull the data from. And it may be, milliseconds, but that still is going to add up when you need to access the data immediately. And so what studios would do is that they would basically duplicate data and assets across the hard drive. So when you were in this area of the parking lot, you didn't need to go to this cell, to this spot, to this spot, to this spot, to this spot. You could just put everything into this cube, copy everything. So when you are accessing that part of the hard drive, you're close enough to all the data to be able to pull it quickly. That's at least how he explained it to me. And the problem is that a lot of studios still optimize that way. And back in the day with hard drives, this was optimizing. Like it was technically faster to put everything duplicated in multiple spots within the install. It was faster to do that for the performance sake of the game. So you were sacrificing overall install size to gain the benefit of speed of accessing the data in similar spots. But in the age of SSDs for consoles and PCs, you don't need to do that anymore. So what you end up with are just massive install sizes that are duplicating tons of data when you don't need to, because the SSD is fast enough that you can pull it from any parking spot within the parking lot, right? So what Nix's basically did is that they just went in and were like, okay, well, we don't need to do that anymore. So we'll just get rid of all of those duplicated things because we don't need the duplicates because we can access it fast enough, which is why in the past you've seen like install sizes on PlayStation or on Xbox be way smaller than the install size for PC. And it's because they're still handling it on PC in a similar way as they used to. Part of this is maybe, it's just like that's how they've always done it, so that's how they do it now. Part of it, I'm sure, is to also make the minimum specs more welcoming. There are still people that operate and install their games on hard drives. Like I know there's almost certainly people in chat that have their games installed on hard drives right now. But you'll notice with modern games more and more, and now I think it's pretty much every game, they say that they expect you to install it on an SSD instead of a hard drive. And that's just where this comes from. Because if you're downloading only 23 gigs, you're not doing the duplication thing. If you have a slower hard drive, like God forbid 5400 RPM or something, and you're trying to use that for streaming games and loading games, you're going to have a bad time. And so the standard has to be raised at some point, and that's what I think is happening now. Hard drive still has its place, though you need, if you want, I can't read. Hard drives still has its place, though, if you want some cheap space to save stuff, especially video content. I'm a video editor. Yes, so Secret Dance Moves, actually, I've mentioned a few times, our server, Jacob and I, we use Synology servers to store all of the gameplay recordings for when I'm reviewing or critiquing games. So like when I played, what's like a recent-ish one, I don't know. When I did that revisit of The Witcher 3, I recorded like every second of gameplay through that entire run of the game. So we had like however much it was, like 60 to 80 hours of recordings. And all at 4K 60, very high fidelity, so that we could edit off of them. It would be unnecessary to record that and save it to SSDs. So on our servers, we have like 4 8-terabyte Barracuda drives. I think there's 16 terabytes. We have like a total of 40 something terabytes of storage within these servers that we have down off to the corner for storing video content. But we do that because it's more about volume as opposed to speed. But when it comes to games, speed is what the primary concern is, not necessarily scale and size. Flexing. Dude, when I was reviewing Starfield, we had somebody try to like hack into it. What I think happened is at one point I was streaming and I had like on my browser, I had a tab open to our like page to access the server remotely. And they saw that and saw me like mouse over it or something, like you can kind of see here when you mouse over it and it pulls up the preview of it. So they went in there, they zoomed, enhanced, and did something, and they were trying to brute force their way into the server to get access to the gameplay recordings. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like absolutely insane. Yeah. I will never use SSD for games. Is it even needed? All necessary memory will be on RAM and saved afterwards on the drive. It depends on the game. It depends greatly on the game. Many games, open world games, are pulling data from wherever it's installed. It's not just sitting in the RAM. So like some games, yeah, if you're playing Stardew Valley, you don't need an SSD, sure. But if you're playing like Red Dead Redemption 2, if you're playing something with a lot of like high speed streaming of data, you need an SSD for that to run smoothly. Otherwise, what you'll see is as you explore the world, you'll get like hitching, you'll get all sorts of things that cause problems. But Luke, is it safer on hard drives or SSDs? SSDs do not permanently store your data. So like, for example, if I have some like family pictures or something saved on an just a little 3.5-inch SSD, over time, after a certain number of years, that will eventually degrade and all of that will be lost. It's not really like something, it's not like one of these hard drives where it's magnetically altered and it can be put into safe storage and maintained and preserved. So SSDs don't work in that same way. So it just depends. It depends. You know? It depends. Yeah. Nothing wrong with 3.5 inches. Yeah, I agree. 3.5 inches is more than enough. Frankly. Yeah. Electrically altered. Well, hard drives were like, it's magnetic. I think electromagnetic. Oh God. 3.5 is massive. Yeah, bro. Okay. Oh yeah. Did you guys see this? I'm thinking we might see Judas at the Game Awards. Because why is PlayStation Now just randomly posting this? Meet Judas, the protagonist of the next title by Ken Levine and Ghost Story Games. Like just kind of out of nowhere, they posted this. What's funny is Jor posted this. Would you kindly? We would love to know what you would like to read more about in future devlogs. So please let us know on our socials or through email what you're most interested in about Judas. The release date. Relatable Jor. Yeah. Have I seen that I'm in the latest 007 dev video on the IGN channel? Dude, I bookmarked it. I didn't watch it yet. I didn't realize I'm in it. Oops. Oops. I'm in it? What do you mean? There we go. I did bookmark it, but I did not watch it yet. We can look at it. Also, I wanted to show you this. This I just thought was freaking hilarious. You know, like VR, some people live fantasy lives. They go and they explore lands with dragons and everything. This dude he installed a bunch of like AR, VR, AR games, and literally like is in a VR bad marriage, and it's quite funny to me.
Did we pack another jacket?
I didn't. I packed 3. Yours, mine, and his.
I'm pretty sure there is another one in here.
I don't think so. Let's go. The snow's melting.
I don't want to get out there, and it starts snowing again.
It is not gonna start snowing out again, honey.
How do you know?
Because I can tell. I'm not exactly...
There might be a snowstorm behind the mountains.
There is no snowstorm coming. The snow is melting.
Okay, but did you check the weather?
What the fuck? All right, we got this. Let's go enjoy the snow while we have it. It's melting.
Dad, I
There's
found
no,
gold.
you're fine.
Dad, I found
What?
gold.
I
found gold.
Good for you, son. Why did you get him a pink jacket?
And what color is his jacket supposed to be?
A black jacket?
Oh, like in support of Black Lives Matter?
A blue jacket?
Oh, like to show we have liberal values?
A red jacket?
Pink is the closest they had.
Dude, I love the idea. Again, it's just, I don't know what it is, but there's something in me so deeply that loves the idea that amazing technologies are developed and then humans go about using them in the most brain dead ways possible. Like, you invent amazing AI technologies using neural networks and stuff, and we use it to create dysfunctional marriages that we enjoy on road trips in VR helmets. Like, we create amazing technologies with neural nets to allow for AI music generation, and we use it to make meme songs about like stupid video game jokes. I love the idea that, like, you rewind the clocks 20, 30 years and they're like, the possibilities are endless. We could literally solve world hunger and cancer. And this is what we end up using it for. I just love it. I love it. Anyway, yeah, I hate my AI wife. We're getting an AI divorce. Okay, I didn't realize I was in this video, so I guess we should look at it. That's funny. I didn't realize I'm in it. Apparently I make an appearance. News Eggman. Okay, so apparently I'm in this dev vlog thing. One of you guys in chat just said it. I had it bookmarked because I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to talk about 007. I didn't realize I make an appearance in it, but you know what? I'm here for it. So this is from IGN. It's the official Gameplay Dev Reacts and Insights Beyond the Light episode 1, where they talk about the game, give some breakdowns of it. Let's see, and we'll see if you can spot my appearance in this somewhere. Let's see. Because I'm interested in 007. I think it looks really good. If it can run well, I think we got a treat on our hands.
Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Beyond the Lights, a series where developers are reacting to your comments, providing deep insights, and taking you behind the scenes of how we're crafting 007 First Light.
I think I met him in Copenhagen. He looks very familiar.
This first episode is going to be focused on gameplay. Let's get straight into it.
Straight into it.
Hello guys, I'm Andreas. I've been at
Andreas,
IOI
yep.
for around 10 years, and currently I'm the gameplay director of 007 First Light.
Now, let's see what all the fuss is about.
There was one moment where somebody asked, how are you guys handling like AI and player agency and stuff? And he specifically was like, we made the Hitman games. We know how to handle player agency and complex behaviors. Like, it was one of those, like, we got that. We got that part down. We got that part down. I do think the game looks very genuinely cool. I like the idea of melding Uncharted with Hitman. It's perfect. Like, going back even 5 to 10 years, there's clips of people saying, dream 007 game, make it IOI. Like, you guys are the perfect ones for it. And yeah, man, I think that it's a match made in heaven. Again, my only concern that I have at this point is the freaking performance. Like, that's the only potential hiccup I could see, because the later sections ran pretty rough. But again, I don't want to just bash that all day.
Let's go.
Chess. Was that my appearance that they're playing chess?
Bye.
Oh, it's Joyce. Joyce and Dennis. Both of them are fantastic. They actually work with our buddy Jor. And yeah, they are an absolute hoot. They're both amazingly talented, very funny. I think I met Dennis at the Dragon Age event, and Joyce, we've run into a few times, but she also was on the stream and podcast after something. I don't remember what game it was for, but we also I met Joyce at the event for 007 as well.
Oh, you can lock the door? Oh, that's amazing.
I appreciate that they broke it up where the underlings may not know everybody involved. They're an underling, like they wouldn't know everybody that's working that location, but the people in charge would. So you can't bluff them in the same way.
Now
I gotta be careful when I talk about stuff. They're listening, bro. They're listening. This is why I've told you guys what you say in like the comment sections and chat matters. It matters because like they listen and they're paying attention. They will directly react to things you say. There was one point when I was at a certain studio. I was at a certain studio in you'll be able to connect the dots, I'm sure. I was at a certain studio in Canada and I was talking to a very like pretty senior person, like pretty high up within the studio hierarchy. And I had done a video where I was not that kind. I was, dare I say, mean about a couple of things. And he actually referenced it. It was like, yeah, I saw your video on so and so and such and such. Harsh but fair. I was like, ooh, yeah, well, I'm glad they're listening. They're watching, so they're aware. So just always be aware that your comments, you never know who's reading them. You never know. You never know. That's why we also need to be on nice behavior, because there's constructive criticism. There's being cheeky and funny, lighting Todd Howard candles, and then there's being toxic. We don't want to be toxic. These are real people making games, but still, it is bizarre to me to see that people way more talented than I'll ever be are watching these videos. You know, it's very funny.
New from like Hitman and Stealth, like you have many different ways to achieve your objective, but I also love how many options you have in combat.
Yeah, exactly like that actually. Like we had a similar concept in Hitman with the Enforcers. It's not the exact same thing, but it's related. So we have these NPCs that can see through you because they know the people working there. That's the idea about it. And it helps a lot when you try to create puzzles and setups to challenge the player in various ways.
Keep a low profile and don't let your guards down. 009 most certainly won't.
Creative approach, that's one of those fun things where really the base definition is about the player feeling creative when overcoming any given challenge in the game. And it's really easy to say that, but it's really hard to kind of translate that into what is the moment-to-moment gameplay that make you feel creative this way.
Yeah, I agree. One of the coolest moments in like, and again, this is why I personally love going out on a limb here. This is going to be hot take. I like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I think they're good. But one of the reasons I love those games so much, especially, is because they are some of the best when it comes to, I wonder if this will work. And then you try it and it works. And maybe the devs had no idea you would or you could do that, but you try it and it works because it's about systems. It's about how those systems interplay with each other. Like I remember there was one point when I was playing Breath of the Wild, like right around when it came out, and I hadn't seen any videos of people trying it, but I thought like, oh, I wonder if I set a fire to this grass and it creates the hot air, if I can then use that to like float up over this like ridge that I needed to get up to. And I tried it and it worked. And I felt like a super genius. Turns out lots of other people figured that out too. But because in the moment I had like thought, I wonder if this works, and then it worked, and they rewarded my creativity with that system working. It's a magical feeling. And even now, going on 8 years later, I still think about that. And I still remember that moment because it was so cool. And that's why I also love like IOI stuff with Hitman, is because they also have the same kind of thing. If you've not played any of the like modern Hitman games, the levels of like interlocking complexity and systems, it's kind of insane. Look up, like, if you really want to have your mind blown, look up Hitman speed runs. Dude, some of the stuff they do is insane. Like, it's actually insane how clever some of these players are. But again, that's also a perfect fit, I think, for 007. Because it's about creative solutions, you know, whether it's an assassination target or you're just trying to steal something or you're trying to get information on something. I think that is perfect. Baldur's Gate 3 did similar things too. Exactly. Because when you build the systems, it kind of reminds me of that saying, you know, plot is, was it Vince Gilligan? I forget. I think it might have been Vince Gilligan. Forgive me, I don't remember exactly who said it. Maybe it was Stephen King. I don't know. It was a talented writer, but they said plot is bullshit. And their idea was basically that if you are creating a story, all you need to do is create characters that sort of act as agents within this world, and you put them in a situation and then you think from their perspective and they will just do stuff. And that creates the plot organically. It's the same thing with like playing D&D, where you'll just sit down with players and they'll create the story because they are all capable agents doing their own thing. And in Baldur's Gate, it's the same thing, where they just create systems, they create agents, and those interact with each other and make things possible. And it's brilliant. But anyway, I could keep glazing Baldur's Gate and Zelda all day long. But then you'd cancel me. I mean, because that's a hot take, right? Cancel me, I don't care.
But from this game, we broke it down into the thing that you need to know that there are different options in the game. If we start violating that trust as developers, the player will forget those options or not use them because they don't rely on them, and then it becomes much more narrow option space. So you disregard that, or you get less creative, at least.
I agree. You have to challenge players, and the moment you start to guide them or overguide them or hold their hand too much, players will forget certain systems. And this is the same phenomenon that I think happens with games that are too easy, is that you'll stop using gameplay systems if you don't need to. It's why this is actually a hot take, I think. It's why I've said, if you're going to play The Witcher 3, play it on Death March. Cancel me. I don't care. Cancel me. It's just my opinion. Cancel me. Because when you play on Death March, it forces you to use oils. It forces you to do the crafting. It forces you to go and upgrade all of your potions. Because if you don't, like, you're going to have a bad time. And some people are like, oh, no, you just want everybody to be sweaty. But I'm like, no, seriously, because on normal difficulty, you don't really have to upgrade potions. You don't really have to go and work with decoctions or oils or anything. You don't have to. But if you play on the hardest difficulty, it raises the bar, the minimum, so that you have to engage with those systems. And so that's why difficulty balancing is a pet peeve of mine within a lot of open world games. Because if games that have a lot of systems are too easy, it just leads to the point where you don't bother with a ton of systems. And in my view, I'm like, why are they there if you can ignore them? You know, I disagree. Too much time in the menu. That 53 nights is a legitimate reason to be frustrated, especially with RPGs that have a lot of systems, is that it can turn into menu busy work. That's one of my pet peeves with like Bethesda games. A lot of the time is that they become inventory management games that feature open world exploration and stuff. That's why, honestly, if you're going to play them, go into console commands and lift the carry capacity. Because like if you're playing Fallout to navigate the wastes and engage in RPG stuff. Why are you spending so much time juggling the weight of bobby pins? You know, like, what are we doing? Anyway.
In that sense. The last thing.
Luke video without mentioning BGS, difficulty impossible.
And I think this is a key ingredient that we also had in our prior stealth game.
Last thing. Same for playing KCD on hardcore. I feel that the base game of KCD2 already challenges you to use almost every system. I think the one system you can regularly like ignore is alchemy, because the economy breaks down in the end game. I don't know how that is playing from scratch with the DLC now. That might have been adjusted, but the base game I think is pretty well balanced to force you to engage with most all of the systems, except for maybe one. You could also maybe say cooking if you count that as a system, but I think most with Witcher 3, I think every player should start on Death March. For KCD 2, I would not start on Death March personally. I think that would be too much of a system shock, because I think the base game already is challenging enough. Personally, just my opinion. Cancel me. I don't care. Continuing. Sorry.
In that sense. The last thing, and I think this is a key ingredient that we also had in our prior stealth games in Hitman, was, and I coined this as uncertainty in execution. It's really the thing that you know your own options, you see the options in the environment, and you get to that point where you think, okay, I'm gonna try this thing. So it might be throwing the smoke device and try to sneak by. When you get to the other point and get past them, you think to yourself, oh, I did it. It actually worked. The thing I wanted to do, it worked.
That needs a look.
That needs a look.
We made games in the past where combat wasn't really the main approach. So now we have a game where we want stealth and combat to be on equal footing. Some of the ways that I think we push it forward is, and this is very gameplay focused, it's in the stealth gameplay actually, where we now have ways to de-escalate situations a lot easier than we've had before. And that happened because we've married some of those bond traits into our stealth mechanics. So for instance, the bluff.
Oi, I need to find Saunders. There's a chance the suspect is dressed as security. The bastard could be hiding right under your noses.
Can you imagine, good sir? Can you imagine? I do think the bluff system actually is going to be very interesting. And it's one that I would want to test the most, because in the gameplay sequence we saw, he comes down to these guards, but like they said, the guy that was just there, this guy, he's in charge of them. And so he will know you're not part of the security detail. So if he's present when you try to click this bluff button, he calls your bluff and is like, no, what are you talking about? And so what he did is he used the chemical thing that you collect while you're going through the maps and exploring, and he poisoned him, made him sick. He goes off. So now you can bluff these guys who don't have the sufficient credentials to be fooled. And that's really, really cool. That's really cool. My question is if that's maintained across every encounter. So you find one guy standing outside of or next to a stairwell and you try to bluff him. What does 007 say to him? You know, what's the bluff that he gives? Is it the same line, but just, you know, repeated? Is it a different lie? Is it a different bluff based on who they are, where they're standing? Is there a clear visual way of determining, you know, who's in charge and who isn't able to be bluffed or who it will fail against? I'm interested in pushing this and seeing how far it goes. But anyway, continuing.
There's a chance the suspect is dressed as security. The bastard could be hiding right under your noses.
Damn. I'll keep an eye out for new faces.
Those are ways to kind of contain a situation, even though you were spotted in a place where you weren't supposed to be. You can talk your way out of it, or you can de-escalate the situation and maintain kind of your stealth status. So that loop in a stealth gameplay setting is something that twists us a little bit away from the normal stealth loops. It feels very good to have that second win, or a way out at least.
Antique books on display about the castle and local history.
Wonder if you could help me.
I'll certainly try, sir.
Are we ready?
Level designer.
Hello, my name is Thomas. I'm a senior level designer on 007 First Light, and I've been at IOI for about 4 years. So in order to highlight the environment, I think we rely a lot on making sure that the player is actually able to see every opportunity at first glance.
I should ask them if you can turn off hints. Because see that, like as he looks up,
making sure that the player is actually,
it pops up with hint, open window. This is also a pet peeve. This is not a hot take. I feel like games nowadays overdo it with hints. Okay, they overdo it. The one that went viral for it was God of War Ragnarok, where like you arrive at this spot, there's a puzzle, and immediately you walk in within like 5 seconds, Atreus says, "What's that up there?" and solves the puzzle for you. They eventually patched it out and fixed it because apparently it wasn't supposed to be that fast, but it kind of fulfilled the meme that games hold your hand too much nowadays. And my rule of thumb has always been make it an option, but specifically opt in. So I would start the game without any hints, and then if players are having trouble, and you can like have a system in the game where if you're walking around this little courtyard for like 3 minutes doing nothing, it pops up, would you like to enable hints? Ask the player there to enable it, because otherwise like the constant pop-ups just like they drive me a little crazy. But maybe that's just me, but like I saw the window, like I don't need a hint for that, you know? So I should ask them if the hints can be disabled.
Actually able to see every opportunity at first glance. One of the most important part for us is to be able to give information without the player actually thinking about it. So he just enters the space, look at what he has, and sees the options. And it can be just a railing, it can be two people talking, it could be some kind of eavesdrop opportunity, but the goal is that we present everything in an impeccable way so that the player can actually glance the options and choose whatever he wants.
And I like that. I just would rather see it in the environment than through a UI pop-up.
When we talk about IOI, we say this is a postcard creator, because every time you want to dream about a location, you buy the postcard. And you're like, oh, what is the postcard of Italy? And you will say, oh, it's Pise, the tower, right? It's not just showing you this place, it's showing you what you want to be and where you want to be in that space. I think what's interesting with having a young Bond is that it's almost a new canvas for us and also for players. And usually when you jump into the the boots of a new iconic character like this, you are trying to match the energy of that character, and it's very hard to give that to the player right away because players, they just get to discover this character with you. And having a young Bond is perfect because that means you get to understand what Bond will understand at the same time as him. So basically you will try and rehearse at the same time Bond will actually try and rehearse in the game, which matches the energy that we want to give and the story we're trying to tell.
Okay.
The laser fires a direct
Oh
beam
yeah,
of
the
energy.
laser,
It
nice.
could be
Of course, the laser.
I'm sorry, the comments. Did I read that
the
right?
laser fires a direct
Oh
beam
yeah,
of
Hitman, but he has hair. If you shave it, it's actually, there's still a barcode. He got it in college. The laser, nice.
Of course, the laser. Yes, you can't really make Bond gadgets without having the laser.
tactically on environmental weak points.
Nice. Just think about the options. We can disable devices from a distance, put people to sleep from a distance, hack things, smoke bombs, distract. When we get caught in a restricted area, we can use up our instinct to bluff.
Exactly. Think about the options. This is funny because obviously we've been in various stages of development on this project, right? And in some of these stages, also in-house, we've talked about, do you have enough options? What is like? And you had so many options with the games we did prior to this, and it doesn't feel like we have the same. And when you look at them side by side now, Hitman and Bond, you can feel you have a lot more options here. Some of the things that in gameplay make you actually feel like James Bond is some of the things that you know from the movies also. It's unique moments where you see Bond fighting on an airplane wing, for instance. So in those moments, you will feel like Bond. On top of
set pieces. That's at least what I call it. Maybe there's an official name for it that is more accurate. But yeah, set pieces, which are like the moments you would see in the trailer, you know, like those big moments that are crazy. I also eat that stuff up. I love it.
that, there's obviously the gadgets, which is a key component of any Bond movie, and obviously should be in a game too.
I think that was my computer. Sorry.
We always started too big by having so many options that it actually becomes very hard to see all of them. And then we just prototype and test and iterate and test, and we end up with a few that we really like. And the rule from every mission and every encounter, rather social or combat, is to make sure the player has at least 3 or more different ways to solve one option and one puzzle or one situation.
But there are some of these iconic things, like the laser. That's iconic, right? So we really wanted that in somehow. So what kind of object does the laser fit on, right? And we also wanted them to distinct from each other. So if we had a thing for the watch, you've seen the watch being the laser in the movies, but we had other things that we also wanted the watch to be. So how can we marry those things, right?
When it comes to gadget, I think the essential...
I'll say it's got to be so freaking difficult to be like, we're going to do this iconic character, but you need it to be original, but then you also need it to be familiar at the same time. Because like, you don't want to just do Daniel Craig all over again. Like, you want to have something fresh and unique, but it has to still be Bond. And if you change it too much, then it just kind of ruins it. So it's got to be a headache. But I mean, that's why they're paying them the big bucks.
The essential part for us was to make sure we provide the players with enough opportunities to use them. If the player wants to test something and use a gadget somewhere, it should behave the way the player think it should behave. And I think it was just us having fun and trying to find the best way to have fun with those gadgets. All that in mind with what Bond is and how he should use gadgets. Because we all know Bond in the movies, he always uses the gadgets at the last second for the wrong usage, but it works. And I think we also want to provide this kind of uncertainty, but you can still do it.
That's interesting to me. He's saying he references the movies where you use gadgets in the wrong way, but it still works. So like using the laser in most levels, just like break down the chandelier or cut this rope or something, but finding a way to use it in a different situation that players didn't see coming. I mean, that makes me think of like Easter eggs and like secret puzzles for only the most observant players who are like, I wonder if this could work. But if they can pull that off, that'd be really, really cool.
Oh. Right in the foot, and you see the guy actually go down by the foot.
Sarth is awesome. He's a great dude.
Oh, right in.
Yeah, I don't know if you know Sarth. He's like, he's a OG Giga nerd. I mean, he knows World of Warcraft like the back of his hand. He's done a lot of coverage of like Marvel Rivals. He's been covering like Arc Raiders. He's been doing everything. He's been doing really well.
The foot, and you see the guy actually go down by the foot.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, dude.
He can climb this, which wasn't that way at all. It actually got knocked down after it got exploded. Look at him yeet the dude, and then kick his shotgun up into his hand.
Oh, no, that's fire.
This is like exactly what James Bond would be doing.
Holy God. But that destruction is what we're talking about. Ooh, ooh.
Having been
He's grabbing stuff, ramming them, pushing them
Specto.
over their legs.
I love the rushing. The melee combat
Parries.
looks great. It looks quite
and
versatile, and I
direct
like
strikes.
The hand-to-hand combat.
Yong in, more like. He's in the video. Yong in.
Combat does look kind of neat, not gonna lie.
that. I'm sorry. I'm very excited.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
The throwing stuff is doing it for me.
The throwing stuff. I'm doing it. Oh yeah, here we go.
God, I love this.
God, I love it. I also love it.
Sometimes James.
Yeah, and obviously it's about adding all these moves so you can use the environment and you feel you have the range of the tools to do what you want, right? And
well, and it's the cinematic quality of like grabbing stuff in the environment, and it makes it feel like it's not just set dressing, it's like actually something that can be engaged with. Naughty Dog's been really good at this for a long time, but it's also like contextual melee as well is awesome. Like, you know, when you go up in what game was it? There was a game where there was like melee combat, and I think it's all it's gonna kill me. There was one where like it was all contextual finishes too. So like you run over and you know you've got the guy and he's close to this object, and you know you have a finisher move, so you press the button and he grabs his head and slams it into the side of the table. Sifu does it. Yeah, it's super cool, and it makes the set feel like more than just gray boxes that look different, you know.
See here, you ram into things, you throw things from the environment, you throw people around over the environment into the environment, and it's giving you a sense of improvisation, which is really Bond's signature way of doing close combat in this game, at least. Also, what you know from some of the movies.
Well, and it's so much more interesting too than just like parry, break, punch, 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 punch. Like James Bond is about finding any means or any tool in his space to help him win the fight. It's not always just a raise your fisticuffs, good sir. Like, although now that I say that out loud, I do think that would be a very funny version of James Bond to see, like, you know, the handlebar mustached version. Dilly. That would be pretty good. We might need that.
My favorite environment interaction is probably the fire extinguisher. So it was one of these where, okay, I set out a vision at some point where I was saying, okay, we need to use these environment set pieces in close combat, and they need to go off. Even though it's not super realistic, it's just so much fun to have it happen, right? So, and the signature first attempt was the fire extinguisher. So you grab somebody, you throw them into a fire extinguisher, and that fire extinguisher blows up. And it can blow that guy back in your face, or it can blow up other people surrounding him and whatnot. And the instant we tried it, you just laugh out loud. It's like so fun. So now it got all over the place, like with cement bags and scaffolding. Throw people into those, and it blows up. Yeah.
It's also I think that's a vibe of, you know, in as you guys know, I DM D&D stuff for my friends, and there's something with a lot of things, but also in the context of D&D called the rule of cool. And so there's moments where something will happen, and it's like, is that realistic? No, this would not happen, but it's cool. Let's do it. You know, it's the rule of cool. And with this stuff, like, yeah, in any sort of video game, it's that same type of vibe. Or in movies, you know, they grab the guy, they throw him down on the desk, and the desk just breaks apart like it's made of cardboard, because it was for the movie. But a real desk would have been just fine. Maybe it would have like cracked a little bit, but it would have been fine, you know? But it's cooler if the whole desk collapses and breaks apart. And that vibe, I like if it's consistent and it makes sense, of course. Like some stories that would make sense. In KCD 2, if you're going for like really slapsticky, crazy Michael Bay, not James Bay, that's a musician. Michael Bay levels of like fireballs and stuff, that wouldn't make sense. It doesn't fit with the tone. But in this case, I do think it fits with 007.
You can shoot them in the feet now. We implement something where we actually register that as not a direct kill. So this is a way to go through our spaces in a way that you don't kill anybody, even though we force combat on you in some specific cases.
So you're saying we could do a feet only run of the game where we only shoot people's feet? We could call it Hideo Kojima mode. I'm going to do a Kojima run of 007. Only feet. Dude, that would actually be cool. If you could actually get through the game that way, that'd be fire.
We make it so you can clear challenges in this way and clear these spaces without technically killing anybody. I recently tested another level where I had a similar sequence. I was shooting
Pacifist run or podiatrist run? Podiatrists are the feet guys, right? I think. Not sure. Yeah, or the Tarantino run. That would be good. That would be good too. Double toe 7. Yeah, that works. Pacifoot run. Oh, okay. I think we found it. There you go.
Somebody and I ran.
If I get the chance, they're going to be like, okay, Luke, you get to ask the devs 3 questions. It's going to be total nonsense. It's going to be, can I turn off hints? Did you fix the performance issues? And can I do a feet-only run?
Out of bullets, and the most effective thing was to climb up a few stories onto a platform. I did that, but when I got there, I had another NPC in my face, and I punched him, and I needed to take him out fast, so I grabbed him, threw him over the railing, realized I still didn't have a gun, so I jumped after him, took his gun. There was another guy in my face, and I shot him, but I ran out of bullets, so I threw the gun. That took out the guy, and ran to him, took up his weapon, and fought on. And that, it was just, I had to pause the game and put my controller down. I was like, yes, it's actually happening naturally, the flow of events that we set out to do.
I think level design wise, when we build combat arenas and encounters, the goal for us is to make sure the player has...
Okay, underrated comment. That's pretty funny. Musicki's just, I'm sorry, I can't read. Does that mean that a punch only run is called a pacifist? That's good. That's good. That's funny. Yeah, I'm just asking for my chat.
Enough options to use all the mechanics we have, so gadgets, guns, and melee. And I think to be able to achieve that, the best way is to provide moment-to-moment and second-to-second options for the player to always be able to move around and always move forward. That's the main thing we try to have, is that the player has to go forward and he has to be able to actually always find options. And that means we're not specifically a cover shooter. We don't want the player to stay and stick to one place. We want him to move around and switch between combat range and also combat melee. And that means also like using all the different things around to provide that. So combat scenarios are pretty different based on the mission and the context, right? So I think we have very guided combat moments where the player is there, everybody knows he's here and he's been seen, and you have to fight your way through, like every classic Bond movie. And in that sense, we usually provide forward momentum with like guiding the player towards a very essential and visual element, so that you always know where you need to go and you're not lost, so that you can also focus on the combat mechanics we have, moving forward, going from melee to range, and also trying to find your way through with gadgets.
In our previous games, combat, both range and close combat, was really a last resort for players. So this time around, we knew we had a protagonist that really, in James Bond, that really wanted a good combat experience. So we knew we had to craft that. We wanted it to be dynamic and reactionary and have that improvisation feel, as we know from James Bond as a character. And then I think the ultimate challenge was really the fact that we have these open gameplay spaces where we wanted the player to have total freedom, and you can choose whatever route you want. Do you want to do stealth? Do you want to do close combat, or anything in between, right? And for that to actually make sense for the player, we knew we had to craft a combat experience that was on par with the stealth experience. Some of the aspects in range combat in our game that we really wanted to highlight or emphasize on was the feeling of shooting a gun, right? You also need...
Okay, I was like, did they show any range stuff? And I'm thinking like sniping and stuff, but he just means like not fist fighting, which fair, I can see that.
Need all those base level of functionality and feel that you have from other key shooter games, right? So we wanted that sound experience to be deep and impactful, and we spend a lot of time crafting explosions, right? To have that feel, that feels like a beefy, meaty explosion. In 007 First Light feels like a very novel feature that we're doing here. It's something we had to invent for this game, because we have a character now that doesn't really shoot first. You know him as a character that he will use force if he needs to, but he won't shoot somebody who didn't actually shoot first. NPC draws a weapon, fires at you, or wants to really badly fire at you, then we give you license to kill, and now you're also allowed to draw your weapon and fire at him.
I did see somebody complaining about that. They're like, these guys made Hitman, I should be able to kill whoever I want. I was like, bro, you're playing as 007. Like, they shouldn't just give you the ability to kill civilians. Like, what are you talking about? Like, or if they give you the ability, it should be a fail, right? Like, what are we doing? But I was like, that's really what we're complaining about? But anyway, some people will be upset over stupid stuff. And that's the problem, is that like, there's reason to be upset or frustrated. For example, in this very shot, you can see this bus, truck, whatever, van. I got there eventually. This thing, you'll see it's glitching out. See the like weird black texture thing? That is a performance issue. That's a graphical bug or glitch, whatever you want to call it. That's something to point out. I think that's fair to bring up. You know, that makes sense. Or the frame rate, that's fair. Complaining that you're playing as James Bond and you can't kill civilians is a stupid thing to be upset about. Sorry, not sorry. Cancel me. I don't care. Cancel me. Yeah, desynchronize. Yeah. Well, it's just like there are valid reasons. And then, like, there are legitimate critiques, and then there's just you being a whiny bitch, you know? Like, it's not exactly like this other game. It's like, yeah, yes. That's kind of the point. Anyway, continuing.
That's the car.
It's got too much of a head start.
We had to up our game here, and you can't really have a James Bond game without driving, so we had to do something, right? And I'm very happy that it has gotten together as it has. So now there's actually driving segments in the game, and you can chase some. You can do some of these mood driving segments where it's a little bit more calm. That's usually introductions to levels, and then you have some high octane chases too to have fun with. I mean, the ultimate feeling we want to give the player is to feel like having played as the James Bond character. And this just adds so much into that bucket of feeling.
That was the first episode of Beyond the Lights. We really hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. And don't forget, you can pre-order 007 First Light now and get a free deluxe upgrade. See you guys next time.
Earn the number. There you go, March 27th. Real quick, honest question. Do you guys think they hit the March 27th date? Do you guys think they stick to that? Or do you think they get delayed? What do you think? Honest moment. Do you think it gets pushed later? Delay, no delay. What do you think? No. It's getting delayed. No, maybe, yes, no. I expected delay, no delay, yes, delay. 50-50. I mean, so I think March is a good time for them to release. You know, for a lot of companies, it's at the end of their fiscal year. Gaming companies tend to end in like month 3 of the year. So for them, it would launch right then. And then the revenues, most of the revenues would come in probably after into Q1 of the next fiscal year, which has all sorts of tax advantages and stuff, which is why, March is a solid time to release. But it's just going to come down to optimization. And that's the difficulty. Is like when we saw the game in what was that, September, I think it was, that version of the game was also shown, I think, to people at Gamescom in August. So that version of the game that is in all the trailers and that we just saw clips of here, that version of the game is probably from like June. And so by the time it releases, it will be like a year more polished, not quite a year, like 9 months more polished than what we're seeing in the gameplay footage, because that's the same gameplay footage that we've seen elsewhere. Like the reason why I knew about that van was because that was something I noticed in like the original gameplay bit that they had, where like he slides down, the car drops down, and then this weird black shadow thing gets cast over top of it, and then it clears away as he drives closer. It's really strange. So that's the same footage that we saw in September, same footage that was shown to them at Gamescom. And so like I think all of it is just, it's compounded. So I do think that whatever version of the game there is now is significantly better than this gameplay is. It just depends on how much better, because it can be 60-70% of the way to where it needs to be, but that's still not where you'd want to be. So I don't know. I get the feeling that they're going to still put it out at the end of March. I'm getting a firm feeling that there's no delay, and I don't know how it'll run at launch. Probably not as well as people would hope, but I personally don't think there's going to be a delay, but time will tell. So there you go. That is the first look that gameplay, dev reacts, and insights beyond the light episode 1 for 007. That's pretty baller, pretty cool. So there you go. Why is it recommending me political videos? I've never watched political videos on stream. Why is it recommending that? I don't understand. Anyway, so there you go. I never miss Bond, James Bond. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, James Bond. Oh, I forgot. I pulled up footage of Bigfoot at the end of last stream. I forgot. Oh, that's pretty funny. That's pretty good. Why were we watching that? I don't remember, but it was just cuz. It was cuz. Okay. Let me catch up on these real quick. Whoops. Where did I leave off? Okay, Meta. We will talk about the statue in just 1 second. Don't you worry. Ryan, thank you for the 2. Have you seen the Soda's Fallout fan animation peak? I don't think I have. I will copy and paste that, and I will look it up. There we go. Hamad, thank you for that super chat. 2026, and yet no one knows, and yet N1 no to UE5. It just sad. N1 no to EU5. It just sad. I'm sorry. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure. If you could re-explain it. I'm not sure what that means. Phantom Cortex, thank you for the 5. When do you think Schedule 1 will come to PS5, or will it? I mean, I think it's easy money. Might as well do it. I don't know when. Maybe we'll see a trailer at the Game Awards. Let's see. Je Rebel, thank you for the super chat. Luke, have you seen that you were in the last 007 dev video on the IGN channel? Like I mentioned, I didn't realize I was in it. I planned on looking at it and watching it. I didn't realize I was in it, so that's cool. Shout out the crew for putting me in there. Blackthorn, thank you for the 4 months at the 4-month tier, or at the show off tier. I can read. Excited for the Steam Machine, getting 6 times my Steam OLED performance and getting great battery life through remote play. I trust Valve to support their hardware. The Steam Deck 2 feels unnecessary. You think the Steam Deck 2 is unnecessary? I mean, I'm excited for the idea of a Steam Deck 2. Oh, I've been meaning to talk about this, bro. I got my hands on a Legion Go 2. bro, that thing is freaking fire. It's amazing. Like it's so good. This thing, it has like the Switch controllers that detach, which I thought was going to be stupid, but it's not. It is a chunky boy, but the OLED screen is like night and day with the ROG Ally. And it is powerful. I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 on it, and it wasn't breaking a sweat. Like, it was crazy. Busted out. It's upstairs, so I could leave the stream, but I don't like to do that if I can help it. But bro, maybe we'll do like a whole review of it, and I'll bring it down and we'll talk about it on Friday. It's so good. It's so good. Like, very good. It is the most premium handheld out there, because it is literally a gaming laptop, but in a handheld form. But like, seriously, it's that good. It's very, very good. Let's see. Saltifate, thank you for the 5. I know this is a weird request, but would you mind reacting to some IRL horse racing? For instance, Kitasan Black 2013 Arima Kinin race. Thank you for the $5 or £5 super chat. I will agree. I don't think I've ever been requested to watch IRL horse racing, so that is a first. And I would say I don't know enough about it, I think, to offer interesting insights. And I'm betting a lot of it is copyrighted too, if it's been like filmed and streamed. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think we'll do that here, but if you want to send me something on the Discord, I can check it out on the Discord. I'm not sure the stream is the best place for it though. Meta, thank you for the 2. Anti-real tweet, stolen art resolved with Bungie. Yes, I thought it already was. So the fact that they tweeted that out makes me think that they actually reached like a settlement. Yeah, here. The Marathon art issue has been resolved with Bungie and Sony Interactive Entertainment to my satisfaction. That sounds like money to me. That sounds like money to me. Which, if it's the case that they were able to get a settlement, good for them. My advice from the start was don't talk to them and hire a lawyer. Because, bro, you just found your retirement account, like, with this whole thing that went down. And hopefully they did that. But now that it's been resolved, this tweet to me sounds like part of the agreement is that you say it's been resolved. They don't admit fault. They pay out money to Anti-Real. Anti-Real can't sue them. And they also have Anti-Real sign like a non-disparagement agreement so that they can't discuss the terms of the agreement or discuss the art theft anymore. So this to me sounds like a settlement, and that sounds like money. So good for Anti-Real in that spot. And I'm glad that it was resolved. So there you go. Yeah. How many commas and zeros? Yes. Well, if Anti-Real got like an actual attorney involved, it should be a fat stack, I would imagine. But, you know, whatever it is, they say it's to their satisfaction. So there you go. There you go. Whether that's $10 or $1 million, I don't know. But hopefully they got what they needed, and they're happy now. Okay, so there's that. What was the other thing I was gonna where did it go? Like 30,000 tabs open. Oh yeah, this thing. Alexioni, thank you for the sub over on Twitch, my friend. Major Dookie Juice, that's what's up. Thank you for the 6 months. Booyah. Y Keys, thank you for the sub as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So let's do this. Okay. Meta 318. Oh, sorry. Meta 318 with a $5 super chat asks, what's the theory update on the Game Awards desert statue? Last theory I heard was it could be Saros or Returnal 2. Well, so for anybody not familiar, this is the desert statue being referenced. It was posted by Jeff Keighley last week, where he just kind of out of nowhere was like regal.inspiring.thickness. A weird cryptic thing. People saw it, immediately started saying it was like Diablo. Jez Corden was saying very confidently that it was Diablo, like a Diablo 4 expansion. That was debunked by Jason Schreier, who was like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not Diablo. Because Jason Schreier reportedly knows what it is. And I have a theory. I've talked a bit about it. And I, it's not only my theory. Many people are on the same page. Jacob actually worked on convincing me with it. Jacob, if you're actually here, you could hop into the Discord and you could pitch it to us if you want. If you're busy, that's okay too. And I can give the rundown. But this was the statue. Yeah, it's Lego Batman. And it's an actual statue you can actually go out to. So you can actually go out there and find it in, I believe, New Mexico is where it's, the map appears showing a location somewhere near Joshua Tree in California, King Vision did that and actually went out there. This is what it looks like. Okay. Mindful, demure. It is like a very well carved statue. Like, I don't know how much it costs to commission something like this, but bro, it's got to be a lot. Like, look at the detail on that. The pictures really don't do it justice. The video's better. I'm sure in person it's even more crazy. But you see, it's a very hellish, demonic thing. You see wolves. You see, like this massive arm getting pulled down. You see the bear. There's multiple bears. There's also a serpent, a giant serpent wrapping around it as well. It's smoking and steaming. Like, dude, it is filled to the brim with detail. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Styrofoam, I don't know what it's carved out of. A lot of these types of things are, but I don't know, man. Whatever it is, it's well done. It's really well done. They even included a porta potty. They went all out, man. Apparently they do have it manned by staff. So I wonder if when he circles around, if you're able to see. So there's the car. Looks like almost a taxi maybe. But somebody else who visited said that staff was very tight-lipped about it. But you can see the big road going by in the distance right over here. You can see the big road. So like, it's not that far off the road. If any of you guys go and visit it, you got to send us pictures in the Discord or tag me on Twitter. Because as far as I know, it's still out there. But this is it. This is it. So this is what Jeff tweeted out and what's been going viral. People trying to figure it out. And, shout out to, of course, King Vision 18 for posting this so we can all see it. Pretty insane. Now, let's be honest. The obvious thing is that it's going to be for like some stupid mobile game or something. It's just some company that was able to pay Jeff a fat stack, and that's what it is. I personally don't think it's that. I think it's actually from something we've all heard of, but I wouldn't blame people for being cynical.
809 donated $9.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Hey Luke, we should thank Todd and trust him cause he brought me to your channel.
Praise be.
He's got plans and works in mysterious ways.
He does. And all we can do is put our trust in Todd that his detail shines upon us and gives us 16 times the detail. Yeah. Jake, are you able to hop in the Discord so you can pitch us the ESO case? Because if you're able to, that'd be cool. So what is it then? Well, so there's been a lot of discussion. You just got a sneak peek of what I've become convinced it is. But basically, the initial theory was Diablo 4. Jason Schreier said, no, it's not Diablo 4. You can see that's linked here, where he said, quote, no idea where Jez is getting that, but this statue is not teasing the Diablo 4 expansion. Quote, I don't currently plan on reporting what it is. Sorry, but it's a good one. So he's claiming he knows what it is, but he's not going to say that, which honestly, respect. I like having mystery. I don't like it when everything is leaked ahead of time. Like, I want there to be surprises. And I'm hoping we're reaching kind of out of the, this is naive of me, but I hope that we're reaching the age where we can start to enjoy mysteries again. And even when journalists discover something or hear from a source what something is, they let it be a mystery. Even though it would be good for Jason's business at Bloomberg to have the exclusive like scoop on what this is. But he has the scoop and is still not saying it, which I respect. I respect, honestly. I like that way more than just leaking everything.
@Blackthorn_6895 donated $10 through Super Chat.
Hell yeah.
I think that the Steam Deck 2 wouldn't be able to reach the same level of performance as the Steam Machine at a low power wattage that's typical for handhelds. Battery life will be more when streaming.
Yeah, no, with streaming, battery life on the Steam Deck is phenomenal, whether you use GeForce Now or any of the other services. But yeah, the big thing is that it's not like a generational leap, at least not yet. So like going to the Zen 2 whatever processor in the Legion Go 2 is like a 30% bump over the previous versions. So it's better, but it's not like night and day. And I think a lot of people would expect night and day. So maybe they wait for like 2028, 29 for some of the new architectures they're working on, and then they do it. I'm not sure, but I think they'll eventually do a Steam Deck 2. It just, they're going to take a while, which is fine. But anyway, continuing on, the other theory after Diablo 4 was debunked by Jason Schreier and shut down. The other theories circled around like, oh, maybe it's for Path of Exile 2. And that's one people are still like kind of up in the air on. Maybe it's for Path of Exile 2. The other theory was that it was something God of War related, something God of Boy related. And there were all the images. We looked at them on stream where like they have the picture of the crocodile and they say, look, it looks kind of like the crocodile enemy in Ragnarok. And then they look at like, where's a shot of the serpent? Maybe from straight on, we can see it. Yeah, right here. So you can see this like serpent, and then up here it curls into the serpent's head at the very top. People were saying, oh, so this looks like Jormungandr, and so it's got to be that. So maybe it's like a spin-off. Maybe it's where Kratos goes to hell or something. I don't know. Other people said it looks like an Oblivion Gate, so maybe it's like DLC or something for the Oblivion remaster. But you know, who knows? The God of War thing, though, if you were here on stream on Monday, you were here for it. Because as you can see, it's linked. As series director Cory Barlog confirmed himself, it's not the next God of War, and that was taken from the tweet I posted actually from stream, because Cory joins us every once in a while. Shout out Cory, and said, no, it's not GOW. But to be fair, he could have been talking about Gears of War. That would be freaking hilarious. Like, can you imagine if it is God of War? And he's like, no, I said it wasn't Gears of War, dumbass. Nobody should ever listen to Luke ever again. That would, no joke, be freaking hilarious. But who knows? Who knows? Personally, I don't think it's God of War. And I think a lot of it lands on this crocodile with the arm. So to sell us on the case of what this is, we're going to bring Jacob in real quick before we do the podcast. Let me pull this up. We're going to get Jacob in here to talk about this, okay? Hey, Jake, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sorry, I got 3 Lukes in my ears now. Hold
on. That's too many. Too many. If you guys don't know, Jacob, if you somehow you don't know, Jacob is our resident editor. He's also my brother. That takes, notice how I said that second, Jacob.
That's true, yeah. And Elder Scrolls expert.
Yes. What is the case?
I don't know shit about it.
What is the case for this being, because our pitch is that this is Elder Scrolls Online, an expansion for that. What is the case for that?
Yes, so we've got all these lovely images of the statue. I made a little doc kind of compiling them. I can't really see what's going on stream right now, but Let's start with, because the main thing you have to do with something like this is just take out any other games that you can. So the first thing we were looking at was that bear with the arms. There's a bear on the right side, if you're looking at it, right side of the statue, kind of coming out. Is it on the right? Yeah, kind of coming out with like a human arm. Do you see that?
Yeah, let me try. He circles the whole statue, so if I can get around and look at it. Okay, big bear with human arm looking thing. So I think this is the bear he's talking about.
Yeah, that guy. See grabbing onto the snake right there?
Yep.
That's the bear paw, as they say. Now,
case closed.
So in Skyrim, there's things called werebears. I think in one of the expansions or something. Because my first instinct was just like look up something that had a game that had bears with hands. I was like, okay, Skyrim kind of works. So then I moved to the alligator, because there's that weird alligator on the bottom side of the statue where it's got a flat alligator head, but then you can see its arm right there. It's kind of coming down with the 4 claws and 4 fingers. Now, Luke, if you would please type in the word Daedroth into Google and pull up an image of one of those guys from the even just the Oblivion remake.
Daedroth.
And I'm going to open a ginger beer while I do it.
Squared off head, or snout, as some say. Some might say that. And then human-ish hands with claws. And they've got that Mike Tyson build, no neck.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Spinal.
It's
spinal.
I broke my back.
That part looks good. If you also notice on that same side of the statue, if you wrap kind of back around the other side in that video, there's also similar spikes coming out of a back. If you can kind of see, there's like it's kind of up above that actually. Now that I'm looking at it, there's like a guy with his head with like a snake thing going into it or something on the right hand side of the statue. Let's see.
On the right side, okay. Yeah, these like spiky things.
Yeah, there's one shot that has like, oh yeah, there on the left side of the screen now. You can see the big spikes coming out of that one guy.
Yeah.
Over there's similar spikes and stuff like that. And then we also had like for the zombies and stuff, there are the Draugrs or whatever the hell they're called in Skyrim, the like guys you find in all the dungeons and stuff like that. But the real kicker, the real thing we're building towards was we were trying to find something that looked similar, and there were some people on Reddit who had mentioned the name Vaermina, Vaermina. And if you'll go ahead and type that in, Luke, and then pillar statue ESO, we'll get our first little extra similarity selling this ESO theory.
This thing?
So yeah, that's her. That's her. She's got the snakes. As you know, there's a big snake wrapping around the statue and stuff like that. That kind of fits. They are whatever, because it's a genderless god. They're the god of dreams and nightmares and love. Wait, there's one with circled snakes on it. That's great.
In case it wasn't clear, snakes.
These are actually snakes. In case and the thing on the ground there, circle the ground. That's the ground.
This is fabric. This is rock.
But anyways, they're the prince or whatever. It was really unclear because I don't know
Prince of
anything about
Darkness.
Elder Scrolls,
Yep.
and I'm trying to ring about like gods and shit, being like, oh, okay, I have no clue.
Sure.
But but I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, if you look Vaermina pillar from ESO, I think is what it is. Let me see if I can't just get you a picture.
Pillar.
of it.
This thing. Oh, this
Vaermina
thing.
pillar. It's like a housing option, like a house decoration.
Okay, this might be.
Yeah,
it.
see right there, the one with like the purple accents.
Yeah.
See,
This
it has
thing.
like the similar guys popping out of it, and then down towards the bottom of it, there's this circular orb thing.
Yeah, and if we compare that to the statue, I mean, it certainly is a similar vibe with like a what seems to be a door or a central crack, as it's technically called. And then like demons climbing and crawling out of it.
Well, so here's what so some of this comes from our brother Ben, because he understands Elder Scrolls things and I do not. I don't know how well versed in Elder Scrolls you are, Luke, but I don't know really anything about it. The way he was breaking it down, because he loves Oblivion, so I was like, what would this have to do with an Oblivion gate? It doesn't look a thing like it. He was like, well, you get the stone sigil. God, I wrote all this stuff down. I should remember the name of it. You get a sigil thing, a sigil stone, and you seal up your Oblivion gate or whatever, and that does it. So when I showed him this picture for the first time, just with the big glowing thing, like the default Kotaku image of the statue, he was like, oh yeah, that looks like an Oblivion gate that has been sealed, and that's like the explosion coming off of it is how he interpreted like the spider claws coming off the side. And I was like, well, I don't know about that. I wouldn't jump right to that. But then as we started walking through everything, I was like, oh yeah, what if this is like a visual representation of an Oblivion gate being sealed, holding back all this evil in Oblivion? And then of course those gods, Vaermina, they live in the realm of Oblivion or whatever. Specifically, this is true, by the way, this isn't me joking. Vaermina lives in a place called Quagmire, like the Family Guy.
So we're finally getting the Family Guy crossover.
I think it's going to be a Family Guy crossover with the Elder Scrolls Online, where you get to play as one of 3 members of the Griffin family.
Which 3?
Bart, Lois, and Stewie.
Okay, I'm playing as Bart. People were asking, why did anybody even think it was God of War? It's literally like this armor down here. So like you see these little like plated armors. There's an outfit in God of War Ragnarok that looks vaguely like this. It doesn't actually look exactly like this. The straps overlap each other, which this doesn't. This is like shelled plating stacked on top of itself. So they're not the same armor, but people said, if I squint, it looks similar. And so that's what they were going with. And the fact that there's a bear and Atreus can turn into a bear. That was the main reasons. And then there's a snake. But I think that it does give me strong Oblivion Gate vibes. But there is a point I heard somebody mention, which is, hasn't ESO ended big expansions, or at least have they communicated that? Is there any information about that?
Yeah, so that's part of what kind of throws a wrench in some of this is I think 2023 or something was their last big expansion thing where they were doing it like by chapters. They're not doing chapters anymore. They're doing like seasonal stuff. So like there's been rumors about like where they go next for Elder Scrolls Online. It could be that they like have decided now they're going to do some big tie-in like with mainline Bethesda studios or something, because there's been talks about bringing Skyrim into the game, specifically like visiting like Dawnstar, which is where that Vaermina character is from that we've been talking about, or at least she has a quest there in Skyrim. So there's like some stuff like that, but it is true that they have decided to at least kind of in concept scale back their updates in a way. And I feel like dropping a giant statue in the desert to tease your small update doesn't really make a ton of sense.
Yeah, the amount of effort they're putting in here seems very high, because not only is it like, I'm sure, ungodly expensive to have something like this commissioned by a very talented sculptor, it seems, but also just as like a practical matter, they're also paying not just Jeff Keighley but the Game Awards to promote it, which is, I'm sure, expensive. So I mean, that's why some people were like, yeah, it's going to be a mobile game, because who else would have the money to do it? I don't know. So I do think that this is probably for something bigger than like a small indie game, or some people were saying it's going to be like I don't know, just an update to some like Genshin Impact style game, but I don't personally see that. I see this as being much higher effort, and the fact that Jason Schreier said that it was something cool, that makes me think that this is probably something a little bit more large scale and recognizable. Now, Jacob and I were talking about this a little bit. Because if we go with it, because there's clearly similarities between previous designs in Elder Scrolls for Oblivion, previous designs in ESO, like there's similarities there. It also kind of matches roughly the gate. People also, one of you guys in chat mentioned the Deirdric Siege machine, which you can see some pictures of it, which at least resembles the same spires as from Warcraft. It could be Warcraft related. It's also like within here, like who knows. This is from within, like, oh, look at this is cool. This it archived. Damn it, it was archived.
No.
The picture shows up on Google, but it's not archived. Okay, I don't know how that works, but anyway, so you see this here within the Elder Scrolls Reddit. Like there's all sorts of things it could be, but I think if we go along the vibe of this is Elder Scrolls adjacent, at least, it makes me think that either it is like an update or a reworking of Elder Scrolls Online, and it's going to be that they're actually going back and doing big expansion again, and this is going to be the big expansion. It could be that it's also like a hybrid. I don't know what that would look like, but a hybrid, like where BGS is working with them on something, because like we know that BGS has been working pretty hard to become like a live service studio as well. Are they starting to pick up some of the mantle on this? Because this also, I mean, we know BGS goes hard when it comes to marketing. Could they have something to do with this? I'm not sure. Maybe it's a hybrid thing with Elder Scrolls 6. Maybe it's just going to be another trailer. What I heard some people saying was they were like, I think that this is going to be ES6 because Xbox wants something to like have some positive news this year, which they've not really had. Cheetah sent a super chat. Thank you. It's going to read it.
Can someone explain why ESO would have power lines in a porta potty in this reveal?
That's a good question.
Can we please use our big brain here? Lol, am I the only one seeing this?
Yeah, so the question, Jacob, is why would they have power lines in a porta potty if this was Elder Scrolls Online? That's a great question.
That is a good point, because most Bethesda fans are either in diapers or forced to wear diapers.
Jacob, that's me.
What? Okay, sorry. I like Bethesda games. I'm goofing. I'm joking.
That's funny.
No, wait, can I say the response to the like Elder Scrolls 6 thing? Like, I think it's gonna be Elder Scrolls 6. Can I say the thing?
Yeah.
Fuck no. Okay.
There
That's
you
all I
go.
wanted to do.
Boom, shut down. I think like if it's a trailer or something, imagine if they're doing all this to drop another trailer for a game that's still like 3 years away. I wouldn't put it past them.
That doesn't make any sense.
But like, I think more likely there is a game in the Elder Scrolls universe that's already out. This would be freaking hilarious. It could be that they're going to launch. There's been a rumor of like another mobile game in production somewhere within the ZeniMax BGS hierarchy. And there's rumors that it could be an Elder Scrolls mobile game, another one. And so it would be really funny if they were doing all of this for a mobile game. But I think personally, expectations should be low, because almost certainly this is not going to be what you want it to be. Okay, so let's
That's a very good way of putting it, Luke.
Yeah, it's just like, some people were saying maybe it's going to be a celebration of the Oblivion remaster. Like, no matter what it is, I like, even if it's the Elder Scrolls trailer, it's still like 3 years away. Okay, like it's going to be a trailer to talk about for 3 years until the game comes out. So I just personally would not get my hopes up a ton. Oblivion on Switch 2, dude, if it's just an announcement for a port, that would be hilarious. But that's the thing, is like, this is so high effort and so expensive. I can't imagine it's just for something small like that. But Diablo Immortals 2. Okay, this time we know you all have phones. We know for a fact.
Well, yeah, so I guess as far as Elder Scrolls is concerned, it would either have to be, because there's no way on earth it's Elder Scrolls 6, it would either have to be Elder Scrolls Online expansion, which doesn't really make sense based on what they're doing, mobile game of some sort, which would kind of stink, or Oblivion remake secret DLC or something, which I don't think makes a ton of sense either. So it seems like we're leaning mobile game here.
Concord 2. Yeah, I think it's just going to be Black Ops 7 update. I think it's probably just going to be something that goes, oh. I know that Saros, it could be, based on the one trailer we have for Saros, it doesn't seem to have a lot of the same monster designs as we see in this. So it's possible
why would
it
there
could
be
be
a
Saros.
bear on an alien planet, even if it did have hands, or an alligator or a big snake, you know?
Yeah. Ashes of Creation is releasing the same data as the Game Awards. Picks of the same or game give the same vibes as the statue. That could be it.
Yo, what if that could be? I'm looking at it now.
Ashes of Creation. Demons, horn demons, bro. You might not be wrong.
Now, don't get mad at me for saying what I'm about to say, given I have never seen this video game before that I'm looking at right here.
I mean, dude,
this looks like butt, dude.
Jacob. I will say horn demons. There's a lot of horn demons in there. It could be Ashes of Creation. But it goes back to what I said. It almost certainly is not what you want it to be. So let's just keep expectations
Foremost
low.
Expert
you know?
donated
another super chat. Thank you, and then we'll get
$9.99
Joran
through
here.
Super chat.
Thank you.
Is it too early for ID Software to announce their next game? Maybe Quake?
Is it too early for id to announce their next game? No, I don't think they will though. I think they'll take more time, but because I think most people would agree Doom, the Dark Ages, could have used some more time, like just in probably pre-production, just for some fresh content, some fresh ideas. But I wouldn't guess that they're gonna do that. Ashes of Creation don't have money like that. They were a Kickstarter game. That's a good point. That's a very good counter. Is like they don't have the money, because whatever this is probably pretty expensive. So who knows? Either way, whatever this game is, they've managed to capture the hearts and minds of a lot of people, and we're all going to be watching very closely. But I'd bet you that probably when it's revealed, you know, Jeff's going to get up there and be like, some of you may have heard about a statue that was in the California desert. Well, this next trailer is what that was referencing. And then he plays it, and it's gonna be like, oh, okay. And
it's Cooking Mama 3.
Or somebody in chat the other day said it's probably like a Goat Simulator. You know how they just go unhinged with like the insane trailers.
I would love for it to be Goat Simulator. And when I told that to my brother Ben, our brother Ben, I should say, our brother Ben who likes Elder Scrolls, because he thought it was Elder Scrolls 6, like almost immediately just looking at it. He looked at me and was like, it better not be that. I was like, oh, okay. Those weren't his exact words, but I could tell that being the case would harm his soul.
That
in
would
some
hurt.
way.
Well, that's the thing is like these types of marketing campaigns are really high risk, high reward, but because like it's captivated everybody's attention. Everybody's going to be listening to figure out what this was for. But I do think a lot of people are, even if it's something that they're going to be interested in, they're going to be like, oh, it's not God of War. Corey said it wasn't, but I think he was trying to divert my expectations and subvert them. And so I think it actually is God of War, which is something we're seeing now. Like in the replies to my post about it, there were people saying, well, you know, he also said God of War, never heard of it, in response to another person. So I think it's probably the case that he's actually messing with us and it actually is God of War. I was like, bro, he's literally saying it's not. And you're like, so you mean it is? Like, it's so stupid. But anyway, new Shadow of Mordor. Don't get my hopes up. No, I don't think so. It doesn't give that vibe either. If there were orcs, we'd be talking.
The studio's dead.
Yeah, the studio died.
There are some things that look kind of like orcs in the mess of things, but we don't have to dive back into it because I know it's almost podcast time. But yes, it is confirmed. Yep, we still don't know. Sorry, I don't know why it's confirmed.
It's confirmed. We don't
guys.
have a confirmation.
It is. I'm just getting word now. Yes.
The other piece.
There's nothing to report.
I heard somebody say it's going to be like an Avowed expansion or something. And they're going to make like their own Oblivion, basically, which would be quite funny. But we'll see. Warcraft. It could be Warcraft. I've heard people mention that.
Honestly,
Blizzard would have the
makes more
money.
sense.
Like Blizzard would have the money to do something like this.
Maybe we can ask our World of Warcraft friend because he's into that new expansion. I didn't even know there was a new like expansion or something thing, but he was telling me last night. something's happening in Warcraft that I don't know
Oh, really?
about.
Oh, we should ask him. He can hop on stream. It's something new. Power lines, trucks driving in the background, porta potties. Y'all are focusing on the statue too much.
Oh my God, it's for American Truck Sim. I knew it.
Yeah, exactly. It's for the hell
We're adding
expansion.
Albuquerque.
Yeah, Albuquerque.
Alex, so you can drive through hell.
The portal is in Albuquerque. Okay, well, thank you, Jacob. We'll get Jor on here to talk some games. Thank you, my friend.
Right on. Bye-bye.
Much love. Okay, let's get Mr. Jor in here to talk about stuff, because Jor actually got to interview Simon, who is responsible for all of the post-launch stuff for AC Shadows. So we can ask him what he found out about what the hell is going on over there. Because I don't know, man. I don't know. Yes, big thank yous to Jacob in the chat. RKFU Gaming, thank you for the sub over on Twitch. It's Bruno. Thank you for subbing over on Twitch as well. I had to resist real hard not to do a Bruno impression just now, and I think I still failed. Have you seen... Oh, I read that one already. 2020... Oh, I read that one. I can't... I'm a professional. Yeah, Cheetah Duck. Why did they think it's God of War? It's mainly the armor and the fact that there's a bear in it, and then like a snake. Look up the first ESO Collector's Edition statue, matches it. So most likely an expansion, cause ESO still making them money. ESO Collector's Edition. Okay, I'll do this. ESO Collector's Edition statue. The 4 statues. Oh, this one you mean? I mean, the demons are very similar. The demons are really, really similar in design. So I'm thinking ESO. If I had to put money on it, I'm not a betting man, but if I were, I'd probably be betting ESO if I had to go with anything. And then I read that one from Cheetah Duck. Thank you again for that. Very generous. And then the ItTech one. Thank you again. Okay, let's get Jor in here. Let's get Jor. Calling our friend Jor Raptor. Jor Raptor. He's being called on the phone, on the Discord phone. La 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 la. Okay, close that. Where did he go? There it goes. There it goes. There he is.
Da-da-da.
Jor is here. He's joined us
Hello,
today. I'm gonna have to adjust this. Sorry, everybody. I'm gonna have to adjust this because I am a professional. We're gonna get Jor over here though. Let's see.
Wow.
Boop, boop, boop. How are you today, Mr. Jor? How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm actually doing very, very well. I was able to get on a cruise recently. Inside Where Winds Meet. The 40,000.
You got in the $40,000 ship?
I was playing solo and I got this notification. The ship is being built. And then, yeah, you go into this online realm. And it was not worth it. So whoever spent that money.
Jor is a high roller. He got on the $40,000 ship and hated it. Wow. What a bougie
it's crazy
man.
Because and it immediately showed to me why I hate online experiences with like randos, because you had like guys like come duel then, because you can do like
just spamming
activities on the ship. People were shooting fireworks. So there is one cool thing, like it's so well thought of. It's kind of wild that basically they're kind of bringing, for example, a Las Vegas experience into a game. Like for the people that have a ton of money, they can get the table, the
just straight
the
up
drinks,
gamble
right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then they still need a full club, so they will have the other people get like a cheap ticket, so it's not like an empty club. But you can basically on that ship also buy or dress up and use the outfits that the other person bought. So if they basically bought the whole shop from the game, all the microtransactions on that ship, you as a player can dress up and see those things on your character. It's kind of wild. Like it's really well done. And the crazy, I mean, well done as in smart of them in the business sense. And it's kind of crazy that people are actually happy about the whales in this game. Usually it's like, why would you spend that? But what I'm all seeing online is like, whoa, thank you for spending this money so I can enjoy all the content for free. It's a weird experience, but I'm kind of scared for what this means for the future.
Well, it's what we've talked about a number of times actually, is that I really think it's probably getting the attention of some of these other companies who are like,
oh yeah,
should we try the free-to-play thing? I don't think anybody will be able to stop though. Like, they have the $40,000 ship, and you better believe that if like EA or Ubisoft were to try it, they would also have like the crazy loot packs. Like, they would monetize the crap out of it. And because it's free to play, you can't complain that much. That's at least the idea behind it, but man,
it's like, and they don't even have to be gacha, because so the ship is gacha, and that's why it's 40,000. So you have to basically like gamble a lot, and if they have like a pity, so at one point you will get the item you're looking for, and then you have to repeat that, and then in the end you get the schematics and can build the ship. But they even have mounts. So for example, in other games, you buy a cosmetic, you buy a mount, and that's it. But no, these mounts have upgrades. So you can get like, you can spend way more money, and to get all these cosmetic upgrades. For people that played, for example, a Genshin Impact, you also know if you get basically gamble for a character, you got the character, but they also have upgrades. So if you then get the character again through the gamble gacha system, then you get like an upgrade and a percentage increase to an ability or something.
Or
and
like,
they have that for mounts as well. It's
yeah,
crazy. So you can spend a ton of money on one particular cosmetic.
yeah, like, so for the dog mounts, for example, you they are like, for this one, they have huskies. I'll put it on screen. And you can buy this for like, I think it's $6 or $7 to get one of the husky dogs. And it's a mount that makes you go faster. But you'll see the animation that plays out when you have them. It just, they yank you and pull you faster as you're being tugged along. So you're moving the same speed as somebody on a horse, but it's just a different visual presentation. But if you buy the base mount, it's just one of these dogs. And then you can buy the upgraded one for 2 of the dogs or 3 of the dogs. And for the geese, it's the same thing, where you can buy one goose that you stand on, or you can buy like a flock of 5 of them, and as you stand on them, they all run with you in the pack. So they have different, like Jor said, tiers of mounts and stuff.
And this is just cosmetic, but some of the gacha mount they have right now, that is like $800 if you want to get it. That's like, unless you're lucky, then you can get it for less, but the chances are like 0.1% or something. It's crazy. So you're probably never gonna get it. But then the added bonus is, oh, you can have a friend join you on the mount. So they do have some interesting, or the mount can do a double jump. So it's not really pay to win, because you're not beating the boss with that mount or anything, but they are giving some benefits, some gameplay elements to the people that want to spend that
might
much
be able
money.
to jump across that crack that you couldn't jump before.
Otherwise you have to walk around or something. But this game also has the flying, you probably have seen, right? If you unlock, like if you reach like far enough into a region, you can just jump into the air and do some very over-the-top slashes, and you're just cruising around. So they're kind of going crazy. But I think it's kind of crazy that Ubisoft has not done this yet. They've been trying all these battle royale games and been kind of behind the curve on all these titles, and this is basically Assassin's Creed RPG free to play in China. Obviously it has some extra elements, but it kind of feels like they missed the boat already if they are going to try this now.
I mean, maybe that's what they're waiting for with Jade, is that Jade is basically going to be that game if it ever comes out of hiding. I don't know.
But that game, I hope because that game had like also gacha, but with weapons, and that always felt kind of strange. Like, you don't want to be spending $800 for a fire axe or something.
And I wonder if that's part of the reason it's been delayed, is to rework that.
Probably.
I'd like to hope that's what it is. Because they did that play test, and it was shortly after that play test that they went silent. So maybe, and I'm not, to be clear, everybody, I don't have like some secret information, but I'm speculating maybe they got feedback that people really didn't like the idea of paying to get better weapons. Imagine that, and they reworked it.
Yeah, they were like, wait, cruise ship? Let's do that. Let's get the
$40,000, you say?
40,000.
$800 no.
Yeah. Want Cassandra in your game? Yeah, you have to invite her to your 40,000.
You have to do
villa.
polls for each part of Cassandra.
Oh my god.
Then you have to assemble her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I mean, I guess we can get into this. Free Roam Podcast. Here we are, friends, once more. I gotta ask you, Jor, because we have the 2-week break between episodes. A lot's happened. Things have happened. Interestingly,
Dude, we haven't even talked about the best announcement of the year.
Yeah, the Horizon mobile game.
No, don't call it that. It's a PC emulator game.
Yeah, is it on Purple? It's on the platform's called Purple, I think.
But it's interesting. I read like the IGN interview, and they basically have activities for mobile players, so where you just are in this open world and can quickly take out some monsters. But like the raid activities, they are designed for PC because they're likely longer and really require you to have a controller. So it's kind of weird what they're trying here. And it's, of course, interesting that it's not on PS5. But
that is kind of low-key hilarious.
They're shooting themselves in the foot with that other game. That's probably the reason, you would think, right? Because Guerrilla Games, instead of... They should have been like, yo, we are just focusing on the single-player game and then maybe working on other franchise. You can be NCSoft, you can make the online. But no, they want to do their own live service as well. And that will probably be on PlayStation 5 and PC. So that's why this super cool looking Horizon game, I think it looks awesome.
It is
will
crazy.
Not come to PS5.
It is crazy that they have a game in the Horizon universe that is, look, I mean, honestly, and you know me, if it looked bad, I'd be making fun of it. But bro, like the fact that it's not coming to PlayStation is crazy. And I don't know what the excuse would be other than it's because they don't want it to cannibalize the Guerrilla game.
It has to be.
Like, I don't know what else it could possibly be.
But how can you... I mean, Horizon is not a big enough franchise where you can have 2 games that are constantly like, yo, do your daily logins. Like, that's so weird to me because you are speaking to the same audience, I think. Unless they're trying to I don't know, be like, okay, we want the Fortnite audience or something with that other game, and they're not gonna. I don't know, man.
The whole strategy behind it seems bizarre because you'd think like if they are roughly similar in terms of like what you're actually doing in the game, they wouldn't greenlight both of them, and so they have to be distinct, probably both visually in terms of art style and in terms of gameplay. But then it's also like, okay, well, then if that's the case, why are you scared of them being on the same platform at the same time? Like, why would you be that worried? Because if, let's just say, like, the Guerrilla game does match that art style that leaked, and it's sort of Fortnite-y meets Sea of Thieves, and it's a Monster Hunter game, but with, like, 5-party teams, or 5-player teams, or 6-player teams, that's fairly distinct and unique. I don't think people would get them confused. But apparently, I don't know of another reason they would keep it off PlayStation unless it was just literally that they're worried that even that will be too similar. I don't know. It's very interesting, but
yeah. And then one is free and the other not, or we don't know if they're gonna sell it or whatever. But you would imagine, looking at what Helldivers has done and Marathon, of course, being $40. Probably as well. That has not been announced yet, but they are probably gonna ask money for it as well. So maybe that's the reason. I mean, that's looking at that game, you're like, whoa, that's free. I'm gonna pick the free one, of course. So, but yeah, they're shooting themselves, and this should have been the Horizon Online game, because if I close my eyes and envision an Horizon Online game, I see this game. And they have already some really cool elements that I would love in the third game as well, like small things like carrying a heavy weapon on your mount, bringing it to your next encounter, using the Glint Hawk from a tall neck and flying around, and finally having more melee weapons.
The movement
like
looked really good. Yeah, it was it is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But I mean, I saw that and I was like, I get that. And now I'm just left wondering, how do they distinguish the other game? Like, why did they greenlight both of these? Surely they're different, but I'm starting to wonder if they're actually quite similar. And that's why. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, they want that. Yeah, like the only reason I can think of is that with NCSoft, they're probably revenue sharing somehow. And Sony, of course, wants their own live service successes. And but you're still probably, I don't know, man. And one game is maybe more for an Asian audience, but it's wild. Like, the franchise is not that big. We already learned that with the Lego game, the VR game, that just didn't do that well. People just want to see the Aloy story ended, and maybe one extra game, but not two, I think. Unless the Guerrilla Games is like, we're doing something completely different. We're in space, because that is potentially where the third game is going to, or whatever. And we're in a completely different area, and this you never thought, or we're doing a game before the.
It's Horizon Zero Dawn, but on the moon.
I don't know. Like, they have to do something different, because it cannot be the same as the Steel Frontiers.
No, I agree. So all that's happening. I mean, we'll see how that goes. Marathon is, I think, currently having a play test. So they're working on that and continuing to refine that, get it ready for prime time. We should probably, I mean, we're reaching
Game Awards.
Yeah, Game Awards. I think there's probably going to be a trailer at the Game Awards with an
Pre-order
announcement of release
now.
date. Yep.
February is my bet.
I think February. They might shove it out like early January. I'm curious though. What do you think they're going to do? What they did with Concord, where they do like a month basically of beta, playtest, launch? Or do you think they learn from Concord, maybe that doesn't work, and they do something where it's like no playtest, no beta, we just go straight into it? I think they probably have to do a beta, right? Like just for server testing and stuff. But it's going to be interesting post Concord.
And also to get that good word of mouth again, because the last taste that people had from that game is not good. So it has to have another, like, I think Arc Raiders with their the final beta they did before they went dark and launched was also one that really turned things around. It was also at the same time as Marathon, and you kind of had the two things at the same time. And I think Arc Raiders being super popular and introducing way more people to the extraction genre will probably help Marathon more than it will hurt them. So the ball's really in their court. I think they have to have a successful beta, but I do think I think January beta, open beta, like 20th or something, third week, and then launch a few weeks later.
I agree. I think that would work. I think it's also, what I'm most interested, and maybe I'm just like crazy for this, but like in the aftermath of Arc Raiders and the amazing success that they've had, I'm really curious how their marketing strategy and everything has shifted, because things like Prox Chat were seemingly added pretty much exclusively because people found Marathon lacking and people played Arc Raiders and loved the Prox Chat as a result of that. So I'm curious if they're going to change marketing tactics. Are they going to push for like some really big streamers to play it? Because of course what they want is they want their own burnt peanut. They want their own guy who's making viral clips that are, you know, sort of going meta beyond just the game, and it turns into like, you know, the battle of the bungalators. They want that to happen within their game. Or to be fair, maybe they don't, because they said they didn't want Prox Chat because of toxicity, and maybe they're worried.
They're gonna add it. I think there were rumors already that it was added.
Yeah, no, Prox Chat has been, but what I'm saying is they didn't want to add it because they were worried about toxicity. So maybe they don't want like the big streamers, like they're begrudgingly adding Prox Chat because they feel like they have to. But I don't know. It's going to be fascinating. I think that there is a small sliver of a chance that it finds an audience and could be. I don't think it's enough to keep like a Bungie afloat. It's not a $4 billion game, as far as I can tell. But it's just going to be fascinating to see how it plays after.
2026 will be fascinating for Bungie overall, because we just had the Destiny 2 DLC launch, the Star Wars sort of crossover, and I mean, it's not everything, but it is interesting because, again, like you said, Sony spent 3.5 billion, was it like that, or 4 billion?
I think 3.7 when all was said and done.
Yeah, exactly. And they already they already report some losses on Destiny, basically, because that game is not doing as well. And now with the new expansion, the peak concurrent on Steam when it came out, so for the most recent DLC that was already way like not as big as this Star Wars one, or not as big as like the final shape, of course, that launched last year. That was at 300,000 peak on Steam. The Edge of Fate, which launched in the summer, was 100,000, and this new Star Wars one 70,000. So it like that game, and we have rumors now for Destiny 3, and I mean they have to do it, but it's gonna be rough and interesting to see if they even get there. But Marathon is gonna be so important. So I think, and I also hope for their sake, that they are going all in with streamers and everything. But you can only, like we've seen that also, the best example is of course the Star Wars Outlaws. We have the biggest marketing campaign ever. Well, that game sold 1 million in a month, and it's a Star Wars property. It's so it has to have the stuff, right, that game. But I do hope, and I think Sony will do everything. And yeah, it's gonna be either Bungie will be successful thanks to Marathon, and it will allow them to make a Destiny 3, or things will get even worse, I think, in 2026 for them.
Yeah, it's not, you don't want to be Bungie right now. I mean, that's kind of the main
No.
takeaway. There is a chance, like I said back when the delay first hit, I think if it had launched in September, the odds of success were like 0%. Like I don't see how that could have been successful.
100%.
But now that it's been delayed, I think there's probably like a 2 to 3% chance it finds some sort of audience. Nothing huge, but like I think you could find 10, 15,000 people to play that regularly pretty solidly. And reportedly, they have made major improvements. Allegedly. Like that's the big thing. Lexistro, thank you for this $5 super chat. My theory, the orientation/culture of the game world impacts how toxic players might be. Arc feels like surviving together versus trying to be the best. Well, I think some communities within Arc can certainly feel that way. I think also like the casual gaming audience really has a disdain for what they call toxicity, but a lot of the time it just means noob stomping. It means like hardcore players stomping on new players or less like skilled players. It's why a lot of people hate skill-based matchmaking, is because they don't like things being super sweaty all the time, whether you're casual or not. And so I think that their idea is that Marathon was supposed to be the first big game that is an extraction shooter, but for casual gamers, but they came out too late because Arc Raiders is already that. I mean, it's already done that. So now it's not like they're not the revolutionizing force or game. Now they are playing catch up to the game that already did it, which is kind of amazing.
Give another experience, I think, that they could still add their own flavor to it. Hopefully, and it's first person, so that of course helps.
I think the tough thing is, the first person differentiation goes a long way. I think it's also having heroes as archetypes, or runners, I guess, that will help a lot differentiate it, because what if it had launched in September, it would have been, it's like Tarkov, but when pitching it to like your friends. Now it's going to be, it's like Arc Raiders, but it has heroes, it's first person, and they're going to explain it in that context. And I think that probably helps them, because Arc Raiders has done really well at like pulling in new players who haven't historically played a lot of extraction shooters or any. So I think it's, they're primed to have a big audience, and it's very possible that by the time it launches in, say, February, that Arc Raiders sort of stagnating a little bit. People start looking for something else to try while they wait for more content in Arc Raiders or something. So I do think that they could thread the needle on this, kick the field goal, they could get it through the uprights, but it's going to be tough for sure.
100%. And that's why I think February makes sense. And I also saw, and that's just like an interesting thing, but Destiny 2 is going to have, they already announced a lot of events for next year, and February is the only month that has no events yet. So I thought that was interesting for a potential release period.
Yeah, and there were also rumors that they've been doing very, very early work on Destiny 3, and we're going to see how that ends up. So who knows what they're doing. But I think if if Marathon collapses and is like a disaster and loses all the money they spent on it, I don't personally see a world in which Sony trusts them to spend 5 years building Destiny 3. Like, I just don't see how that works. I don't know.
No.
Can you? Like, say
No.
Marathon launches and it's at 100 players within 2 weeks. Like, there's no way they stay open, right?
No. I really hope that that's not happening. I think Bungie is a fun and a good developer to have around. But yeah. No,
They
I
have
don't
some
think that will be good.
amazingly experienced devs. Like when we were out there playtesting Marathon back in April, we were I went to get a coffee. We took like a little break. They're like, everybody stretch your legs. So I went up to get a coffee. They had this little coffee machine thing that makes lattes for you. And I went to get a coffee, and like I'm standing there just chatting with this guy, and then he just casually mentions, so I forget the exact level it was, but he made a reference to like OG Halo, a very particular level. And he's like, yeah, so that, yeah, I did that. I made that. I did the Warthog design, so that's me. And I was like, you're just casually here. You're the Warthog guy. Like, that's you, and you're just here on a Monday or whatever. So they have some amazing talent and some legends of the industry. I think a lot of their problems have been, of course, managerial. A lot of those managers have since left, either been fired or like the CEO randomly retired, took his millions and FO'd. But I mean, at the end of the day, the damage is done. So we'll see if they can settle it out. It's just, they may end up being a day late and a dollar short.
Yeah, for sure. But Destiny is still big. Like even if it's like way less than it once was, it's still like a lot of people would die for a dedicated player base like that.
It's true. It's just, it's big, but it's not big enough. Like it's big, but it's
very
not
expensive.
profitable. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very expensive to keep that game around. So maybe ask NetEase, like, yo, guys, the Destiny Rising team, you're now Destiny 2.
Yeah, dude, they added a bunch of
make some
features
cheap
people were
content.
begging for. But okay, I gotta ask you. We gotta shift topics a little bit. Okay.
Yes.
I gotta ask you. Since the last time we spoke, we've had a couple of big things happen in the world of Assassin's Creed. Valley of Memory for Mirage. And of course, this Attack on Titan crossover event that's getting a lot of buzz.
Yeah, very good buzz.
a lot of discourse
for sure.
People are talking about it. And I'll be real. I have a video going up later today talking about Ubisoft's quality assurance problems. Because what I feel Ubisoft has just not really appreciated post-COVID is that launching something great is good for the brand, good for the franchise. It instills trust in players. It's a good thing. But when you then go turn around and release like an NFT game, or you turn around and you release this crossover event, even if it's a free little project, it still reflects badly on the company, on the brand, and it leads to worse games. It leads to player distrust. Like it's not a good thing. And they've continually done it. And so with like Valley of Memory, really well written, well performed, executed, production values there. Of course, they spend a lot more time and money on it, no doubt, than the crossover. But they're both being presented as updates to established Assassin's Creed games for free for players. And it is shocking to me how low effort that Attack on Titan crossover was. What did you think of all of that? Like, where are you at with it?
I think it's overall very interesting. Like, I agree, the Attack on Titan content was not great. It was mostly just they clearly focused on the wrong things with that. With that content. I think I saw you say that in a video as well. If you cannot do it well, then maybe not do it. But I think if they made just one boss fight against the Titan or something like that, or an interesting gameplay activity. I think that's why, I'm not sure if you played the Dead by Daylight crossover they did, but they basically created this whole like new level, and they had some new stealth elements. You had to watch out for these sort of totems, and if you were inside the light, the sort of guy that was hunting you, similar to by Dead by Daylight, would come after you and smack you, and then you would like have to start the level again. It was something you have not experienced in Shadows before, and this Attack on Titan is you're climbing, you're doing like, it was very unclear with how the level was designed, and it was just not a fun experience. And in terms of gameplay, there was nothing interesting going on. And then next to that, you get these cutscenes, and I was able to interview Simon, who is the associate game director on the game and now in charge of the post-launch. And I also asked him, yo, what's up with the cutscenes? And I think he made a great point, basically saying, yo, we know how to make these cutscenes. There are scenes in Shadows that are really good, especially at the start of the game and at the end, and that's always with these big Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
They have the stuff, but I mean, for whatever reason, I mean, we can, of course, we know the reasons they want to have a game where people can spend a lot of time, because that is what they say to their shareholders. Like, they have been with the most recent investor call again. It's like the daily or the monthly players for Assassin's Creed and how much time they spent. It's up double digit, blah, 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 because the games are big, but that is hurting the overall quality. And it means that even though they might have, and they will say that, we have more cutscenes in Shadows with motion capture than in, I don't know, other previous titles. But because these titles were way shorter, you constantly had these scenes. And in Shadows, yeah, you have to be lucky to encounter them. And a lot of them are, just very, very basic. I think also what you said, like, the people don't want to be there, the actors and the characters, and it just doesn't work, especially if you finally, one of the first targets you kill, it's okay, let's go, and then it's a very static scene with the rifle and this character, just the mouth is just moving, they have no emotion in their face.
No, dude,
it's really, really bad.
It is, and it's always just shocking to me, because it's like, you know, we can do comparisons. There was a video, I mentioned in the video that's going to play later today, but there's a video where, I believe it was about a year and a half ago. It was when Star Wars Outlaws came out, and it went viral, but it was a video that just said, these two cutscenes are 14 years apart. And it was a cutscene from Star Wars Outlaws talking to the sheriff character, and then it was a cutscene from Red Dead Redemption from 2010. And the difference in production quality, in effort, in everything, the writing, all of it is night and day. It was shocking. And people do it also with Assassin's Creed, where you go back and you look at cutscenes from the middle of Black Flag, and they are heartfelt and motion captured and well performed. The voice acting's really good. And then you cut over to AC Shadows, and like, Nawe sees a friend of hers die or something, and she's like, oh no, we've got to get to the castle. Gesture. And then cut to Yasuke, and he's just, what do you mean? And it's like the most bizarrely paced, just, it's bad. It's just bad. And at the time of the game's launch, I was like, it's very dry. But what a lot of people on like Reddit, for example, were saying was that it's actually being done because in Japanese culture, especially at that time, you would not gesticulate wildly. You would stand very stoically, hands at your side.
That's also what the developers said, by the way, pre-launch, when people asked about it.
I remember them saying they had to totally rework the animation sets they used for AC Odyssey because they were dealing with different culture and they would talk differently and everything. And my position, though, with that is just like, I've said before, like, perception is reality, the reality you have to deal with. And whether or not there was a reason or an intention behind them changing the animation style and making it more stoic and still and monotone, I understand that, like, the way people speak in Japanese is different. So if you're going to retain the tone and the rhythm of speech and the like intonations, if you're going to maintain that or lack thereof, it's going to sound to American or English listeners as much more monotone and flat. I get all that, but like, it's a video game. You can take creative liberties, as we've seen with other games set in Japan, for example, with like Ghost of Tsushima or Yote. And in those games, the creative liberty they take is to like make the characters sound like they didn't just down a bunch of sleeping medication. Like, they actually sound impassioned, and they may not be gesturing realistically to social situations in feudal Japan, but I think that that's okay. And you know, Ubisoft, they've been plagued with this damned if you do, damned if you don't thing for a while, where like, if they really try to be historically accurate with like how people gesticulate in the game, then people complain that it's too monotone and dry. But then if they were to change it, people would complain that this isn't how they would have actually spoken, and they would never do this in a social situation. Like, so I get where they're at, but like, at some point, I feel like if you showed those cutscenes to anybody before launch, we would have been like, guys, it's dry. It's like really slow. I told them that when I went in January, and I was like, it's pretty dry, honestly. And Yasuke's not bad. Nawe's actress, and there's just no way to say this nicely. I just don't. I did not like her performance in Shadows, and I think that the DLC is also showing that. Like, there was a whole thing we found on Reddit of people asking if Nawe's voice actress was assisted by AI voice lines, because her performance was so dry, people couldn't tell if it was AI generated or not. And at that point, if people can't tell the difference between you and AI slop, like, something went wrong, you know? But
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, but I think overall there are two kind of discussions here. I think for one, it's clear that Ubisoft put resources towards the wrong thing. And I think really with the Black Flag remake seemingly coming, that was of course another big thing that happened since our last show, with Tom Henderson now reporting that it's in the final week of March, so probably the 27th, which would be a Friday. I think playing that game again, and then with the Shadows graphics, and still seeing those cutscenes, you're like, whoa, I can't believe this was Ubisoft in 2013, and how good those scenes are, and what they turn into right now.
And some of the writing really too, like the writing is so good. Like Blackbeard's line where he just he says like, if it weren't for, or in a world without gold, we could have been good men or honorable men. I forget the exact, I'm gonna look it up because that line is so good.
Yeah, but that will be really, I think replaying that game with the remake will be really like, whoa, what the heck, what happened? I think it's clear that they kind of went too far in that direction, and then having Outlaws as well, where that is, so they clearly put the wrong focus. That it's clearly important for a lot of people, but yeah, they focus on the environments and the world, and those look beautiful in both games, but yeah, you're mostly engaging with these characters, and if you want to tell a heartfelt story, and even if the writing with Ubisoft games is always kind of mid, even if it's at least cool to look at, and at least the characters seem to mean it, it already goes a long way, I think. And I think Ghost of Yotei is a great example of how, with limited resources, again, that's a way smaller team even than what Ubisoft is, with the amount of people, the amount of people that worked on the Ubisoft games, and they zoom the camera out so you're not constantly focused on these characters and how their mouths move and stuff like that, because that game also doesn't have a lot, like still more, it feels like, motion capture scenes, but all the interactions with the characters in the world, because that's, I think, the realistic side of it. They cannot go fully motion capture. That would probably ruin them. Like Horizon Forbidden West did that, and that is crazy. That what they did there, and I don't think that is the right solution either.
Well, it's kind of the chicken and the egg thing, where it's like, you know, which came first, the decision to block it in such a dry way and say it was for out of cultural respect, or was it that they had like scope cuts and they decided not to motion capture cutscenes? Because frankly,
100% that's the reason.
Yeah, like if you're gonna stand with arms down like this and just kind of randomly talk in a monotone, barely moving your face, and stand in a perfect, it's amazing. Once you notice it, you can't unsee it. In AC Shadows and all the DLC and things, or crossover things, the conversations are always like really basic triangles, or they stand in a square or a triangle or a pentagon. Like they stand in a very simple orientation with really basic camera angles that are fixed. It's not the same dynamic tool set they had for Odyssey, which had cinematic camera angles shifting even in conversations and across lines of dialogue. And so it's like a major downgrade. But then it's like, because they're standing that way, there would be no reason to motion capture. What are you going to motion capture? Just them standing at attention? Like the way that they blocked it, mandated that. It would have made motion capture a waste.
I think they probably didn't have enough time, and that's another thing that from the Simon interview was very interesting, I think, and something I already heard before, but now it's cool to have him basically say that on stream. They spent a lot of time with Shadows working on the engine, and we will see the fruits of that labor for the future games, because they don't have to spend 2.5 years or whatever it is on all these engine upgrades, and I think that is also the reason why, remember, when they announced Shadows, it was constantly talking about the lighting and the seasons and all that sort of stuff. And we were like, okay, but when are you going to talk about the actual game? And it probably seemed like they were so focused on that aspect because all the future Assassin's Creed games, the Black Flag remake, Hexe to some degree, and all the things they will have after will be working on this engine. And seeing Shadows now on Switch 2, I watched the Digital Foundry video. It runs, which means that all the Assassin's Creed games that are coming out this generation will be on Switch 2 as well, which is pretty huge overall. But that meant that at one point they were like, shit, we have to make this feudal Japan open world RPG as well. And that's where the post-launch was like an afterthought, while with an Odyssey they had this whole plan, and with Origins and Valhalla more so as well. And yeah, that's probably also where we cannot go to every conversation and okay, let's now do a cool shot of this temple or whatever, because they probably ran out of time. And that's more an explanation of probably what happened. I still don't think that's good, and they are seeing that right now with how really this Attack on Titan situation is kind of backfiring, because, and I think that's the second conversation. So I think for one, the conversation is they should really put more resources into making these character interactions more believable and giving us like what we saw from the previous games, at least to some degree, with these regular conversations. But I think the other conversation is, should they even, like, I have covered the Origins post-launch, the Odyssey post-launch, Valhalla post-launch from moment one till the end, and we were on our own island. Like, we were just playing that content, we were having a great time. For some reason, Shadows has the spotlight. So probably, and they're of course doing they're doing more crossover, so that is not helping either. They're really shouting from rooftops, yo, we got Attack on Titan, so that's,
but even that, like,
totally on them.
I remember like looking back at AC Origins, they did, I think it was a Final Fantasy crossover, and it was like pretty high effort. It was very good. They had the unique mount that they brought to the game. Like, it was high effort.
It was not great though. This is more effort.
Like, I don't know if I would say effort. I think the production quality on this is somehow, like, it's so jarringly bad that it, even if they had 20 people working on it for a month or two, however long they worked on it, it is, I think, when contrasted with the like Valley of Memory expansion thing that they dropped for free for Mirage, it just feels like they literally put interns on it, and that again doesn't help Assassin's Creed. Like, Ubisoft is always like, why don't people buy the games at launch? Why are they waiting for sales? This is why, because you don't know if you're going to get Valley of Memory or if you're going to get this crossover level of quality, because it's so inconsistent from release to release. They'll put out Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and then they'll rush out Star Wars Outlaws the same year. They're like, what do you mean you guys aren't confident?
But that is what Simon said. We have the motion capture people in the studio, but they are working on the actual big things, and we are with a dedicated team on the Shadows post-launch, but we don't, like, interns is maybe a bit too harsh, but I do think that's a lot of people maybe working on Assassin's Creed just now, and like they don't seemingly have the experience of the people that are working on the next big RPG or whatever. So I think what you said, like, then just not do it at all if this is the result you can get, or make it a gameplay focused thing. And that is what they seem to do next year, and that's what Valhalla did as well. They didn't go and try big cutscenes. They made a mode where you would like do challenges and you got gold medals.
The river raid
It was
stuff,
all gameplay. Yeah, it was all gameplay focused, and they were not trying to make this grand story-based mission. Probably because they knew they could not. So they were just giving replayable stuff to do in the game. And that is what Shadow should have done from the start as well. And they finally are realizing that. But yeah, it's already too late for this. And I'm really curious, because they are monitoring everything, what the impact of this will be. Is it like, okay, maybe, like, they're of course scared. What if this impacts the Hexe reveal? Like, that's of course the worst case scenario. If people, when the Hexe cinematic comes along, it's like, when is the Attack on Titan crossover, something like that, right? So that will be interesting.
Yeah, I think like I see people in chat mentioning like all of these are just excuses from Ubisoft. I agree. I think it's very clear that what is actually going on, they say that they're doing the cutscenes this bland way because of cultural considerations. I would bet you that was an excuse they thought of after the budgets and scope and scale were trimmed down. And they're like, oh, now we can say that. And now, because we've done that, we don't have to spend all that time in the motion capture booth, which saves a lot of time. But ultimately, the reason that they do that, and this is the core thing that I've been frustrated by, they do it because they think / know they can get away with it. Like the people that are playing AC Shadows will be like, yeah, I mean, it's not as good at cutscenes as like Origins had, or as Odyssey, or even Valhalla, but, and certainly not Black Flag or any of those. But, you know, yeah, some junk food gaming. So, you know, I put some hours into it. It's fine. It's good enough. It's good enough. And that's what feeds all the other data that they're pointing to justify it by saying, well, our player counts are high and our engagement hours played is super high. But this is like a problem with modern gaming that I've mentioned before. And to reference, I'm going to use a quote from Jeff Bezos, the one and only. And he, in his leadership of Amazon, had a point where he said, when the data and the anecdote disagree, it's usually the anecdote that's correct. And there's something wrong with the data or the collection of it or your interpretation of it. I think a lot of studios are starting to make design choices or justify design choices by data. So like BGS will decide to go with like the paid mod stuff because they're seeing that people are downloading it, spending money, and they can look at that data and justify the design choices that they're making. With Starfield, they're like, yeah, the game is bigger than ever. Yes, people are complaining it's boring, but more people have put more hours into this game than any of our other games in the last 5 years or something. And so they can point to that. So they're using the data to justify what they're doing, even though the anecdotal experience from many individuals is not just slightly disagreeing, but completely disagreeing. And in this case, I think that, you know, Ubisoft probably has data that like they can do the low effort stuff in AC Shadows, or in Star Wars Outlaws. And in many games, you know, they can maybe push it out the door a little early, and for years they could get away with it, and players would just kind of hand wave it away, roll their eyes, say it's good enough, whatever. But that's started to shift and change with Star Wars Outlaws, with that underperformance. When the anecdote caught up, Breakpoint was back in 2019, I think. I think now they're reaching a point where the anecdote is starting to catch up with the data, and people's experiences that they've been verbalizing for a long time. It's also starting to seep into the engagement and the perception of the content more broadly into the casual space. And so maybe now we'll actually see adjustments. And like you said, they made a lot of investments in the engine. Maybe it does mean with the Black Flag remake and with Hexe, we're going to be looking back on a year and be like, okay, they heard us. All of Hexe is motion captured. It's all very well done. The writing's great. Maybe we'll be here saying that. I don't know.
I do think there are conversations, or at least if that game has the same stiff conversations, even though it should be a smaller title, and smaller for Assassin's Creed probably means a 15-hour story or something. So God of War is one of the games that was mentioned in comparison, not by Ubisoft, but just like from Tom Henderson, or just to kind of like expect what we can get. So it's like semi-open, so linear sections, and then maybe some open spaces. That's at least what I think it will be as well. If that game doesn't have the full motion capture approach, that would be, I would delay the game then. I would be like, okay, we cannot do that. Let's get these people in the room and make all these scenes matter. But
because that's, I think what you just said is precisely it. If it feels like Ubisoft doesn't care about the cutscene enough to motion capture it, or at least put high effort, like, you know, cinematic quality into it like they did with Odyssey. If they don't care enough to even try with it, why should the viewer or the player care? And like, it really does feel like the scene doesn't matter when it's just 3 characters standing in a triangle talking monotone to each other before fading to black and going back to gameplay. Like, it's It just doesn't
Yeah.
feel right.
For me, my best Shadows experience was doing New Game Plus and skipping everything and just playing the game, because I think the gameplay is still very, very good, especially the stealth. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch. I do think that the Shadows post-launch situation is a vicious, like a circle. Like, that game probably underperformed in terms of what they expected, because you just had Valhalla, which was enormous. So yeah, they were probably like not expecting that level, but maybe like when they started development, they probably expected it to be at least at one point going to reach that, or Odyssey levels. And I do think it started strong, but then Odyssey is being played more, for example, right now at this current moment than Shadows, on Steam at least. And I do think that then they were like, okay, this is the amount of resources we're gonna put in the post-launch. It's not gonna be as much as we usually do, because there are not as many players, and then the quality of the content they can even put out is less as well. And yeah, so I do think it's kind of like a vicious cycle, and it's not helping. But I think it's at least cool that they're going to continue with support of the game next year. And yeah, they're not doing a second DLC. That was the other big news. But
I think we will see, changes or responses to some of the feedback. And at the very least, in terms of how they pitch it, I think Black Flag Remake it's too late for them to really change or do anything with it. But Black Flag Remake has the chance to like really adjust and shift the narrative in a significant way. Because let's say they come out, it's a remake, and it literally is just Black Flag, but with Shadows graphics. And then, like, obviously it's been reported and leaked that they're going to be changing some other, like, gameplay elements too. But, like, if it is a true, faithful remake and it's received well, it goes over well, that I think would be, forgive the turn of phrase, it would be a good amount of wind in their sails that they could use, that they frankly probably need. But I swear to whatever god they worship at Ubisoft, if they come out with the Black Flag Remake and they've replaced motion captured scenes with like that stupid stare, I'm gonna scream.
Why? That would be so stupid. They're not stupid. That's stupid.
If they have the motion capture data still, then they can do it, unless they would have to recapture it. It was suggested, or not suggested, the voice actor for Edward, he's the one that was making little sly comments like, you might want to play it again soon, and apparently he got in trouble for saying that. But that suggests to me that he was involved in the remake in some capacity.
Yeah, but there are rumored to have like new, instead of the modern day, they're gonna do like new content. So
what was the rumored name too? It was Resynced. Yeah, because they're cutting out the parts where you're walking around Ubisoft headquarters in the start of the game.
Yeah, basically the Singapore headquarters, I think it was. So yeah, and yeah, instead of that, they are gonna do 4 hours of new content. At least that was what Jerk's video, I think, said. The French.
There wasn't it rumored that they were adding back some of the cut content from.
I don't think they said the cut content. Yeah, I think that has been speculation. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, at least more. Instead of modern day, they're gonna do more pirate stuff, basically.
More shanties. But that's the thing. Like, this is probably one of the big things. Like, people are saying, never underestimate them. At this point, I have the confidence I have in them.
Was it Montreal? Okay, it was Montreal, seemingly. What you were walking around. I think it was okay.
I have a lot of confidence in their ability to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, and I think they have a layup here, just like BGS with the Oblivion remake, remaster, whatever. This could go really, really well. And it should be, on paper, easy for them to just get some quick brownie points with the remake. Like, you remake this, then you go and you remake AC2. Like, bro, people will lose their minds. Easy brownie points. That's why everybody else is doing it, because it just prints money. And maybe, thankfully for them, expectations are quite low. And so if they meet the bar, it'll feel like a major W for them. But they gotta hit that bar.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be very interesting. I'm still kind of sad about the release date, man. It's the same week as 007. The week before, you got Saros and Crimson Desert. One of them has to move. I really want Crimson Desert to move.
Crimson Desert. Yeah, we were talking about earlier on stream whether 007 gets delayed.
I don't know, but I'm not sure about the IO. Like why all these games are in March is of course because of their financial years. So it's all still happening in this current year. But so I'm not sure if IO has that.
I personally, I'm just getting the vibe that IO is not going to delay it.
No,
the demo footage that they've been using is the same footage they shared at Gamescom, and that footage is probably from a build circa like May or June. So it had some technical problems, yeah. But by the time the game launches, it should be like 9 months of polishing, which, in theory at least, is a lot. So I'm optimistic that they can get it where it needs to be, but
I don't think they should. I think they might be overestimating the 007 brand a bit. That's my fear, that they're really thinking a lot of people will show up like a Hogwarts Legacy, but I don't know if that's the case. I hope, of course, that that's the case, and I totally have faith that the game is going to be good, but it's also, you're launching in a very different time, and yeah, it's a very traditional single player type experience. It's kind of Uncharted-y, but yeah, you don't have the PlayStation's, like the Naughty Dog PlayStation Studios brand, and then coming out in the same week as the Black Flag remake, where like people know, okay, that game is gonna take me 60 hours or whatever it is, and this James Bond game probably 20. And yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I like shorter games too, but people are like they do like their money going into something they can spend more time with. And then you have Crimson Desert. That's like, if that game is really hitting on all cylinders, then a lot of people are gonna still be busy with that. So I'm just worried, man, that a lot of, and Saros, you got like your particular audience for that. I'm just worried.
Yeah.
That
it's gonna be. I personally suspect that they're going to be doing like a much more traditional media marketing push, like you're suggesting, where I think that their goal is to get that Hogwarts Legacy style promotional thing where you get the 007 fans, you get the people who like the movies, you get those people to come in and buy it. I do think like there will be a gamer marketing push, but I think that the big push is going to be for a lot of the casual audience. And maybe that's the thing, because like honestly, Crimson Desert might not have the same casual appeal. You know, it's fairly hardcore. You've played it, I've played it. It's not a game that I think the average person on the street could pick up the controller and jump into. Like it's fairly hardcore.
I think it's just hard to bet on those casual people. And that's all I'm trying to say. You just cannot count on them. You cannot count on them to show up. Because they're
filthy casuals,
and they're now playing Fortnite. Like that's their thing. That is so much like, first we had movie games coming out. Every movie had like a game that was being worked on for 1 year, and some were good, some were bad. And yeah, those people bought those games, but now you got the skin in Fortnite. Like that's it has changed. And if Fortnite launches a big season in March,
do you think I bought that Sabrina Carpenter skin for nothing? No, I'm gonna use it.
No, you didn't. Dude, I'm playing as Uma Thurman right now in Fortnite.
Hell yeah.
People.
Hell yeah. I knew you were cool. It's gonna be fascinating. But yeah, March is going to be absolutely crazy. February will probably be busy for us with a lot of like coverage and
hopefully
pre-coverage.
If we get Crimson Desert a month before, that would be necessary if we want to cover the other games.
Yeah, too. I should DM them and be like, just a heads up, we need it super early if it's as big as you say.
Please,
dear
do
God.
the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 approach.
Literally every studio, every publisher I've spoken to, I have told the best possible way to signal confidence to your players, to your potential customers, and to the media and press and people playing the game. Give it to them stupid early. If it's a big game over 50 hours, give it a month early. And that will do so much to show how confident you are. If the game is...
Sony always does it.
Yeah, Sony
as well.
Very confident. I'm trying to think if there's another group that was super early with stuff.
Nintendo, it does it as well, but yeah, you have to be in that...
the bubble.
In that bubble.
Yeah, there's some that do it and are very confident, and they have reasons for it. There's other studios that will tell you you're getting a review and then just don't send it. Veilguard. But... you know, it's just hit or miss. It's hit or miss.
Yeah, it's it's interesting, but I do feel that this year has really shown, and we're seeing that like as well with, I think, Battlefield. I saw Moxie, another creator, of course, talk about it, how they were already invited to DICE 2 years before the game came out or something to give feedback. And they, of course, got Battlefield Labs. So I do think things are changing with how crazy the competition is right now. You need feedback early and from the people that are actually going to play it. You don't want to have a beta or a launch and then be surprised by the feedback. That ship has sailed because well,
especially because it's so easy to get that feedback ahead of time. Like, it's so easy. And I mean, I've spoken of this, of course, for obvious reasons. I can't be specific, but I've been like, in the last couple of years, I've been asked to provide feedback on upcoming games, a good number of them, because they want to know what somebody like me is going to say before the video drops, you know? And so it's like, hey, we haven't revealed the game yet. There's not even a trailer out. It's not even been announced. But what do you think? And, you know, you give them the feedback.
You could have saved Concord. You could have saved Concord.
I feel like anybody could have saved Concord to just be like, what is this? What are we doing? But that's the same thing.
Where anyone could have saved it.
I think, yeah, it was, what did Herman, what was it? What Colin said, Herman,
Star
it was called
Wars, the new Star Wars.
Yeah, their new Star Wars.
His baby. Yeah.
People called it his baby. Yeah. Yeah, they I don't know if anybody could have saved that, but I will say, like, there's a number of studios who have actually taken that to heart and been like, okay, let's get feedback, not just from content creators, but from individuals too, with surveys. There was that rumored one for Fair Game $sign that happened that the studio head was booted out after. So I don't know if that was creators or if that was regular people in like a beta program, but either way, it's happening, and they're trying to get feedback earlier so that they don't have like Saints Row or Forspoken problems where it's like, how did you guys not see this coming? But
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, man. And these games from China and the Korea, where we've already touched on those, like the Crimson Deserts, the Where Winds Meets, they're coming for everyone. It's gonna be crazy. I mean, this year we've already slowly seen it, but it was the Genshin Impacts, it was for the anime fans. But now they're coming for the Western, like the AAA realistic looking games too. I really want to see the data on people just playing Where Winds Meet instead of the new Assassin's Creed or something next year. Like that would be very interesting to me, if that's actually taking away those people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, they're in fact, just the other day, you'll have to try to help me remember the name of it. What is that Chinese game that was revealed that looks like God of War? Blood Message. That's it. Blood Message.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
This thing looks insane. And actually, Corey Barlog was in chat the other day, and he hadn't heard of this one yet, because we were talking about all sorts of these Eastern studios that are doing crazy work.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
And so we showed it to him. He's like, I will have to check that out. That's crazy. Because it does just look insane. Like, but this is what we're going to start seeing. It's why I've said in the next 10 years, I think some of the biggest games like this are going to come from studios you've never heard of before. And it's just because a lot of those studios are either brand new. There's a ton of amazing talent in China, Korea, Japan. And historically, so far, they have not even tried with games like this. They typically make like the big MMOs, mobile games, whatever, that print money. But now you're starting to see them break into this AAA space for Western audiences too. And they're making it look real easy, and they're doing it quickly.
Unreal
and
Engine
cheaper.
5 helped as well, because your game just instantly looks way better. And the thing is, and we've talked about it before, there are so many people in China, so only the best of the best get to work at these companies. And of course, the crunch culture is way more present there.
Well, it's why people are like, how are these games coming out so quickly and so cheaply? And it's like, bro, because they don't pay people hardly anything. But if you're in China and you want to work in these studios and you're very talented, like, that's where you work. It's your option.
No,
and
but
so
you have to, like, it's really for you. They have 10,000 other people, and it even seems like someone told me they're watching like Chinese sort of TV shows, and instead of like having the policeman, or I'm just saying something like as the career that people like look up to, it's game developers in these shows. Like they're really, those are like the famous rock stars in China. Your game developer, like the Black Myth Wukong guy, for example.
Have you seen the guys over at S Game? Because did you send Dennis
Phantom Blade Zero
to Phantom Blade Zero?
Yeah.
They so the guy that runs S Game, let me see if I can find the website. S Game as a studio is run by a guy. I think he goes by S. That's his like name
awesome.
that they refer to. But
he's a superhero.
yeah, well, and he is like an actual rock star within there. I think they said he's a former like environmental artist on games, and like this is literally what their studio looks like. It's like straight up futuristic craziness. It looks like AI renders, but these are actual pictures.
Abstergo building.
Yeah, like look at it. What is this chair? What are like what? But like this is what they're doing, and they are amazingly talented. Like S Game again with Phantom Blade Zero, they had like 2,000 people at that event. Like 2,000 people for a game in a brand new IP that like nobody's ever seen.
People saw the dollar signs, man. Black Myth Wukong, what was it? It cost like, I don't even know.
I think it was like 60 million or something. It was not anywhere
exactly.
near what
they
you would
made
think.
that in one day, and then some, because that game sold 20 million now or something. Of course, a lot in China, and the game is a bit cheaper there. But yeah, that is crazy. It is crazy.
It's I seriously think like it'll be good for the industry, because I think you're gonna see, you know, finally some stiff competition for like Sony's first party studios, where you're going to see some new players, and that's always good. Competition is always good for the studio, for the industry. It means more competition, better pricing, the talent, you know, and everybody's pushing each other to make advancements. But I think the biggest thing and the biggest influence is that the Chinese and Korean and Japanese studios are going to be able to put these games out probably faster because of crunch culture, and also because of cost. They're cheaper to make over there.
They can have 2 people employed for 1 people here.
Yeah,
for
literally.
1 person here.
Hey, same thing. Like we looked at the salary pricing for or what they offer for salaries at From Software, and it is way less than you would think.
Something.
Yeah, it's like $1,800 a month. They got a raise, I think, earlier this year up to $2,000 US dollars a month. Is where the starting salary is. Like you could literally make more than that working at a coffee shop, like in my small local town. And so it's just different over there, and that's going to lower the costs for their games. That's where the profit's going to be, and it's going to be interesting to see how studios in like Quebec, Montreal, Paris, Amsterdam, like how do you compete with that if your costs are double or triple? Like how do you compete with the Chinese studio that can do it in half the time for half the price?
Yeah,
I don't know if you do.
It's going to be very interesting. Probably we will really see the best of the best survive, and you got an Embark now, you got a CDPR, of course, Rockstar, like those will probably be fine, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I think like Sucker Punch has also shown how it can be done here in the West with a smaller team, and still making a very solid game. Yeah, that is probably it. But like you say, competition is always good, and I totally agree with that. But I do think, as hard as it might sound, like heads will roll. Like these studios will have to adapt, because it does seem, and that's what we've seen over the years, the amount of players is not really increasing, but where they spend their time is changing. And if you make a game with the assumption you're going to get the same amount of players from a few years ago, because that's what you always had, but now those people are already spending time in the free-to-play games that are getting better and better from even the Western studios, and then you got like the Asian developers putting those games out as well with AAA quality. Like the biggest thing I've seen from Where Winds Meet is, how is this game free? Like we're not like, we don't expect those types of things. So man, it's gonna be fascinating, but I do think it's gonna be also, of course, good, but I do fear for some for some studios. If you're like the BioWares or something, yeah, I don't know, man.
You just won't compete. I mean, if you have to spend 8 years building like a Dragon Age Veilguard or a Mass Effect 5, whatever it is, I don't know how that makes sense, especially because, like, again, for everybody at home, it's not just a matter of like, can that individual studio compete? The studio is getting funding from investors, from shareholders, from people who are giving you money to give a return. And why would those investors give you money if you are going to take twice the time and it's going to cost twice as much? And even then it may still flop. Or I could give that money to Chinese studios or to a big firm that owns and invests in Chinese studios and be much more confident that the game's going to be made cheaper. It's going to have a built-in audience of people in China who it's like a point of national pride. I was talking to one of the people at S Game, and they were saying that they had people coming from universities across China for that S Game event, and they were like, their professors were asking if they could like take pictures, and they were giving them time off of their exams, and they were helping them work around like assignments to be able to go to this video game event because it's a point of national pride for them. Where it's like, how many people in Washington do you think you could walk up on the street and be like, so are you going to be buying Marathon to support Bungie? Like, I don't think you're going to find anybody. Yeah. It's just going to be a different thing. The industry is changing a lot. It's not just AI, but it's also just geographically things are shifting. I see Pollock says, as long as they don't use AI. I have some bad news for you about Chinese development, because I think it's going to definitely use AI tools. So I don't know. They're not too concerned. It's the same thing where it's like, I hope they don't use crunch culture. It's like, who's gonna tell them? Who's gonna tell them? It's something gamers that crunch is an awful thing. It literally takes people away from their families. It can destroy marriages, and it can be an awful thing in any industry, gaming, finance, whatever. But I think for a long time the games industry was built on crunch, was built on getting 80 hours a week out of a lot of people for the last few months of development. And post-COVID, a lot of that went away. A lot of crunch culture was killed off, which works if it's true for everybody, but it doesn't really work if you then have Chinese companies that are coming in and still crunching.
If they're competing with different rules, then yeah,
because that's a good way of putting it. They're playing by a different set of rules. They're like, let's play football, but we get twice the players.
Basically.
That doesn't really work. We're gonna lose now.
You go off the field at 6 and we keep playing.
Yeah, we're gonna have an extra 10 minutes to do stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fascinating, but for gamers, it probably means that we see some very well established studios sort of go the way of the dodo, would be my guess. And I think it also means that we're going to get a lot of really great games coming from brand new studios, fresh perspectives. And, that's how the industry rolls, though. There's always going to be fresh ideas, and competition's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah.
And,
Do you have any closing thoughts? Because we've been going for, like, I don't know, an hour and a half. And it's always a joy to chat.
No, I think we covered probably everything. I mean, we can quickly touch like the Game Awards, of course, coming up next week.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at what was revealed last year, and it was pretty crazy actually. Like the Intergalactic, Witcher 4 was revealed. Mm-hmm. We got first looks at Mafia, Borderlands, Split Fiction, Dispatch. So I hope we see some more cool reveals that will hopefully blow us away here at the end of the year. I mean, the first half of 2026 is already pretty big, but yeah, we don't really know what's gonna happen after that, and we do know that it's probably like most companies are going to rush to get their game out before November. So I do think we will start to hear more about what 2026 will look like, and maybe even beyond. So that's gonna be exciting. I hope we see finally Tomb Raider. I think that would be very cool.
Yeah. I think it's very possible and very likely even. I do think there will be some surprises. I don't know, do you think we see the Black Flag remake at the Game Awards, or do you think they shadow drop it or something, or do their own event?
No, I think the Prince of Persia thing is interesting. That I do think it would be not ideal to have both like Ubisoft remakes at the same time. And if the rumors are true that the Prince of Persia remake is already coming on January 16th, then that does give them time to release that and then talk about Black Flag. So if they're gonna do a remake, I think it will be Prince of Persia. But then the Twitter account said we can't wait to show you more next year, which is kind of weird to me. But I think they're probably going to do the Prince of Persia, because we have to remember they worked on that game for 5 extra years. Yeah. Because it was supposed to come out in January 2021. Then Montreal took it in themselves. So it's not a small project or anything.
Looked really good too. Like, it's not every day that we get Ubisoft leaks and we're all going, oh baby, okay. But like those leaks actually looked really good. And apparently they were from, I think, early 2024, I think.
Yeah.
So they were pretty old. But anyway, I think that that's possible. I've been saying for a long time, I think the best thing for the Black Flag remake is shadow dropping it. It's bad for my business, but I think that would be best for the game. Don't give people time to complain about stuff. Just let them go buy it and play it. So that's my stance, but we'll see what they do. I think that there's probably going to be a good number of surprises. But I don't know. Like, I guess if we have to do this, I'm going to ask you first so I have time to stall and think of one. What do you think is going to be like the one big game that people are talking about after the show? Like, what's the big reveal?
I mean, we have the Half-Life 3 rumor, of course. I think it's possible. Of course, they said, Valve doesn't really jive with like Jeff, but remember, Jeff was giving away a Steam Deck, I think, every minute of one Game Award at one point. I think that could of course be huge, but I hope it's Corey's game or something like that. Like, I hope we finally get another big PlayStation banger. I mean, Intergalactic was last year. We know Naughty Dog is working on another game. That would be cool to like Uncharted, like seeing that or so. Like, Sony doesn't do the showcase anymore. I think they're gonna save that for the PlayStation 6 and a State of Play. Yeah, that is not big enough for some of the games that I do think are still cooking and want to hopefully launch this generation. So I'm holding hope for Corey's game, Return of Uncharted. Like, that's the second Naughty Dog project, I think. Something like that. That's what I hope. I think Microsoft has everything already announced. Would be cool to see. I think they're probably going to focus on Forza Horizon because that seems to be actually in the first half of 2026. So, yeah, I'm not expecting like a big surprise from them. Bethesda, yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything from them. Capcom has some games in the near future. Of course, I think Resident Evil might show up again.
Pragmata?
So yeah, but I think that might be a bit later. I think Onimusha is probably a bit later too. So I think they're going to focus on Resident Evil first. But yeah, if you kind of go down the list, I see a lot of people talk about the Blood of the Dawnwalker. Like, seeing those games again would be fun, but I do think we need I think Tomb Raider would already, if it's really open world, I think people are secretly really, really looking forward to a type of game like that. So if that game has a really good showing, I do think that could be talked about a lot too.
I think so. I think all of that is very good. I think that I'm guessing the statue has to do with something related to Elder Scrolls Online. I know some people think it's going to be something else. Some people were saying it's going to be Warcraft. It could be that because it looks kind of like one of the I forget what it's called, but we looked it up earlier.
Yeah.
But I think we see that. I think that an easy dub for like BGS would be if they have a trailer for the Fallout 3 remake, but they probably are going to try to shadow drop it because they have the show coming out soon after. So if they have anything ready,
Starfield potentially, but I think they're going to probably do Fallout 76 like to hype it again around the show because I think the show actually comes out that week, right? Or
it comes out the 17th, I think. So it's
the
like
17th,
a week and a half after.
No, I think they're going to focus on 76 probably first.
Probably that's what saw the biggest player bump, anyways. But Yeah, and they could still shadow drop the 3 remake if it's ready. It might
That
not be
seems
ready till next
further
year.
out though, from what I've seen.
That's my understanding as well, is that it's further off. I think that probably one that I'm hoping for might be just Cope. I do think we'll see a really, really simple 10-second confirmation of like Dispatch Season 2. Just something really quick and simple. Just we'll see the logo and it'll say Season 2 and then it'll cut. Because I don't think they have anything ready, but I think that they'll confirm it's coming. I think we probably see something for Saros, like a trailer or something. I think
that could be what the doors are for as well.
It could be like you just never. It could be so many different things. It's just vague enough that it could be.
But it better be good, because otherwise, next time they do something like this, they must be very happy with the engagement on it. Yeah. Next time they do something like, I mean, Jason Schreier knew what it was and said it was good. So
yeah. The fact that Jason Schreier's interested in it makes me think it's not just like some stupid mobile game.
Yeah. I can see Square, by the way, with like Kingdom Hearts or maybe even Final Fantasy Part 3, like that has been almost 2 years. So I do think they want to get that out ASAP. So.
Yeah. I think we might see The Expanse. We could see a trailer for that. I think that could scratch a lot of people's Mass Effect itch.
They only have the Exodus. That's the other game. Exodus and Expanse. They're both like Mass Effect inspired, but the Exodus is at least confirmed.
Yeah,
we know that.
Okay. So there's that. I think. What else? I thought maybe there was a chance of seeing the Duskbloods, but I think personally Nintendo's going to keep that for themselves and do like a Nintendo event in like April or something to promote it.
Still weird, man, that game.
That whole thing is going to be so weird. I find it so fascinating, but it's just
they better
so
have
weird.
like a PC launch later, you would think, right?
Yeah,
it's not a Nintendo
I think so,
game.
but like I don't think Nintendo would want that anytime soon, because the whole point is that it's exclusive. Like the whole reason they got it is because they want those people on PC to buy a Switch for it. And one of the Reddit threads I saw on it, the best comment I still think about it, was a guy just said, Hidetaka Miyazaki is in the kitchen cooking, but we're locked out. Or another guy,
what? Let me in.
Yeah, I want it. Another guy was like, so I finally know what it felt like to be a Souls fan when Bloodborne came out exclusive to PlayStation, because a lot of people, when that happened, didn't have PlayStations and they bought it for Bloodborne. So it could happen, but what makes it even worse is that it is an always online multiplayer. Well, I don't know if it's always online, but it's a multiplayer design game that relies on the Nintendo online infrastructure, which is notoriously terrible.
And you gotta get that camera, man.
And you gotta get the camera for the chat button.
360p camera.
Yeah, dude.
They could, like, that would be another huge one, like another announcement of them. Like, I think Elden Ring was, of course, Summer Game Fest. Bloodborne was, Sekiro was during Game Awards, like the weird arm. I think they showed like a teaser for that. So that would, of course, be huge if they're like, yeah, we got the Nintendo thing going, but I still believe the sort of Spellcaster rumor or whatever it was, it might be true.
What was that?
So they do like their next game. It was like a.
Oh wait, that okay. I thought you were saying within Duskbloods. You know what'd be really funny is if he like they have a trailer where it's the Duskbloods trailer, but it's literally just like at one point one of the characters reaches down and grabs an actual living mouse, and people are like, oh my god, it's confirmation. Mouse in the hand, PC port confirmed.
No,
that's all
and
they
then
need
it's
to
a
do.
Joy-Con because you have a mouse there too.
Damn it,
guys.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
It is what's the game? Dragon Drive 2.
Yeah, Dragon Drive. Didn't look ridiculous at all.
Wow.
Oh man.
Did you see the desert in Metroid Prime? What that looks like? You have to quickly show this.
Okay, I'll pull it up. Desert and Metroid.
Wait. I have like a tweet from
you do? Okay.
From Game Explain.
Yeah, also shout out Donkey. Apparently I'm in the new Donkey video that just went up.
Nice.
Which is fun.
Nice.
Big ups Donkey. Big ups Donkey. Not that he needs my help.
Look at this.
Let's see. Okay.
It seems like I want to play the game. It seems like the game is really good, but look, this cannot be 2025, right?
Dude, I saw people
my
were
God.
I saw people were shocked that it reviewed in the 80s. Like 80s
What
is still a good
this
score, but
gameplay?
like
This is like N64 graphics.
fam. I'm gonna say it. Cancel me. I don't care. This is my opinion. I'm gonna say it. I think Nintendo with the Switch 2, the games so far have been pretty mid. I said it. I know I haven't really played them, but I
From
will,
the clips I've seen.
from the videos and things I've heard people say. I don't know. It's just it feels like there's not that same magic. Like with Breath of the Wild, like you needed to play that, you know. But like, fam, what are we doing? You're right. Like what?
This is so like funny, and the clip isn't even about it. It's like there's no music in this section either. And I was looking at this like, what the heck? It's like bloop, bloop, bloop.
You're right. I'm playing music on stream. Oh, wow.
Binanza
Okay.
was great. I heard those. I played it a bit actually.
Wait, is this
I still wanna-
seriously true? Wait.
What?
Nintendo Land says, sorry, I put the wrong camera on screen. I'm sorry. Nintendo Land says this. I saw apparently you have to scan the bike amiibo to get a radio.
Oh, during the desert. Yeah.
That's seriously obnoxious with Nintendo. Yeah, so after researching, the bike amiibo gives you skins for the bike, and the Samus amiibo gives you essentially a jukebox. Nintendo is so freaking stupid sometimes. So if you want audio, you have to pay extra for an amiibo.
You have to buy a physical.
You have to buy a physical statue to scan to get a radio in the game. That is the most unhinged thing. Can you just imagine for us? Let's rewind the clocks a little bit. Ubisoft comes out with the Black Flag remake. If you want shanties while you're singing, you need to go buy a physical statue that has a DLC code to get the music. Everyone would rightly say that's insane. But for music while riding through an empty desert, you have to pay for an amiibo statue?
Yeah, it's crazy.
What? Okay, that's unbelievable. That's crazy, man. Wow. I'm sorry. That took my breath away. Don't give them ideas, Luke. Yeah, sorry. Eve is like, wait a minute, he's onto something. Eve's like, hold on, I'll call my son. Yeah, he's gonna love this. We'll turn it into an NFT. I don't know why my Yves Guillemot voice turns into Michael Jackson after a few seconds.
Way, just got confirmation from the Prince of Persia Twitter account that it won't be at the Game Awards.
Oh, okay. But
That is
we've not
interesting.
gotten confirmation that Black Flag won't be.
Yeah, but that game is not announced yet, so they won't say
True.
whether or not. But
Yeah, that thing we haven't told you about is not gonna be there.
yeah. Or maybe Ubisoft will come out. I mean, they won't, but maybe be like, yeah, we will not be at the Game Awards. Look forward to blah blah. But we will see.
That's crazy. Okay, well, I don't know. I'm going into this also not thinking too hard about the Game Awards because I also love the surprises. Last year I was on a plane when the Game Awards was happening, so I missed out on all the fun of the Witcher 4 reveal and all that.
I mean, they stream it everywhere. Did they not stream it to your plane device?
I tried to watch it on the plane actually, but it was not great. Some of the planes are getting Starlink now, and apparently that's very good on the plane, but this one did not really have it. So I landed and was like, saw the Witcher 4 was announced. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? It was okay. I was in New York City to play KCD 2, so there was a good reason to be there. Of all the reasons to not see the Game Awards.
To be fair, though,
it's a good
next
reason.
time you should probably say, "Yo, let's do the event a day later." I think that event could have been like a day later, right, without issue, and you could have still watched the Game Awards.
Realistically, probably. I think for me, it actually worked out really well because I was in Orlando at Universal Studios on vacation, and then we got contacted that they were going to be in New York City to do this KCD 2 preview, and they'd like for me to come. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it because like I leave to go home on Friday, and the event was on Friday or whatever day it was. And they said, well, you could just come and then leave the next day. Like we could thread the needle on it. So I left from vacation in Orlando. My family flew home. I flew to New York City, stayed in a hotel, went and played KCD2 all day, and then hopped on a plane and flew home. And then the Game Awards happened that night. But it was very, very, you know, I like to be whiny, but it was actually a pretty remarkable time. I just missed out on the Witcher 4 reveal. But this year, I'll be able to do it live. We'll do it live. I did receive an invitation to go to the Game Awards in person.
Sad.
But I shut him down. I said, no, thank you.
What?
No, I said, thank you, but I love you all dearly. It's not a great fit for me this year, but maybe next year. We're going to co-stream it instead.
Yeah, no, I think that's still fine. I'll be there. I'll be watching. I'll
better
be
believe
clapping.
half of
If
our view time
Aloy is there. They
Dude,
will
he's
cut
gonna,
the camera.
we're just
better.
gonna hear a random
Oh my god, that's really bad. I should not have said this.
You better believe, like, if the show is 2 hours long, my react is going to be 4 hours long because it's just going to be freezing every crowd shot looking for you in the audience. So you have to, like, send a picture from your seat so we know where you are and we can try to spot you. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
We'll have to experiment. Like, if you have your phone on you, if there's a reveal, I've always been curious what the delay is like from when it happens on stage to when it's actually like streamed. So maybe we experiment and like when something happens, you send a Discord message and I can be like, okay, that just happened. There it is on screen. Or maybe it's like 5 minutes later. I don't know, but we can experiment with that.
Yeah, okay. Then we should, yeah. If like one of the, okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Secret dance move says Luke should have been there, nominated as content creator of the year. I will never pretend to be on that level. And frankly, I think the burnt one deserves all of the attention. So I'm rooting for the burnt one, and I recommend you all vote for the burnt one. May his skin be salty and lightly toasted.
I usually look at the list at like only one person or something, or sometimes nobody. So
same. It's tricky because it's like, I remember when PewDiePie was really, really big. You know, he's got 100 million subs or whatever, and like he's still not nominated for anything. And it's like, okay, it's like, what are we? And it's always like you said, it's usually people you've never heard of. So like, who cares? It's not. Like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I think Burnt Peanut was saying he was considering going live and he was going to wear a full Peanut outfit that he had made, but he wasn't sure if he was going to go yet. So we'll see. Who knows? Who knows?
You would think that they invite you, right? And if you are nominated, at least.
I think they invite you. I don't know if they fly you out or if they pay for you.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
I mean,
I've never been nominated.
5 people nominated. Yeah, 6.
I'd have to imagine like they could get away with not paying for it because it's like you're gonna win an award, or you might. So fly yourself out, loser. But I don't know. Either way, it's gonna be fascinating.
Cool, though, if you could get like Kojima to accept your award or something. Like if you have like really good contact with one of these very famous game developers, be like, okay, if I win game content creator, you take the award. That would be so fun.
That's the deal. And then after he touches it, he sends it to me. That's the deal.
Yeah.
I need the fingerprints on it. Don't clean it. Oh, that's a good point, Pinheadry or Headlery. Thank you for that suggestion. Yes, you should wear a Where's Waldo outfit to make you easier to see in the crowd.
I think that will only make it harder. just look for a red suit.
Red suit. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're going to be on the lookout. Well, it'll be very, very fun. It's been a joy, Mr. Jor,
sure.
as always. Thank you all for joining us live as well. I will say Mr. Beard very generously sent a 36, I think it's Qatari Rial, I want to say is the currency. But he sent a very generous super chat. Unfortunately, a solid like half hour after we talked about the topic, he said, now that both of you are here, what's your opinion on the AC Shadows DLC? And we had already finished talking about it. So thank you for the super chat. I did see it. We did talk about it. And you're probably watching that part now because of the time shift.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for joining us. Much love. We will see you guys soon. I'll be back on Friday with another stream, rocking and rolling, because we have some very interesting interviews from former employees talking about the one and only Todd Howard. So buckle up for that. It's going to be a good time.
On
they're
the show,
old. They're interviews from like 11 months ago, but I was recently suggested them, and it's a collection of a bunch of former employees talking about him and his process, and it's very interesting. So we'll get it. We'll get it. Much love, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.